Chapter 37:37 These flame footstones were originally inlaid on the large array and were unbreakable, but just now the woman in white shook them loose. Long Chen easily put these footstones into the chaotic space. The dragon dust just put away the flame foundation stone. Ming Hong Dao came out of the scabbard and quickly cut down at his back. Boom! With a loud noise, the dragon dust chopped on a long flame spear, and the dragon dust cast the net, collected the stone and made the knife in one go. When the dragon dust was cut off with a knife, his qi and blood surged. He stepped back several steps. He was shocked. The strength of the red-haired man was so terrible. When he saw the rune on the spear in the red-haired man's hand, Long Chen's pupil shrank. The power of faith? This spear is a realm artifact warmed by the power of faith, covered with belief totem. Are you the descendant of the Lord of the Temple of the Holy Dan? Long Chen's arm was numb and shook his wrist in a cold tunnel. Yin Changxing, the close disciple of Yin Tianda, the master of Shengdan Hall. Also the descendant of Yin's blood, so you can be in peace. The red-haired man pointed his spear at the cold tunnel of dragon dust. No wonder you can control the power of faith, but your name is not very good. Based on my years of experience in chopping people who are called longevity are basically not good at dying. Long Chen looks at Yin Changxing. Practitioners, especially those powerful practitioners, like to call some domineering names. Many people's names include such words as heaven, earth, sun, moon, star, and Chen. In fact, such a name will have a relationship with the way of heaven, bear a certain cause and effect. If life is not hard enough, many will die directly. Even before some people are born, the name has been taken. If the name is too overbearing, the baby has not been born, will be stillborn, not so hard life, cannot control the name of domineering. For example, Long Outyan, Zhao Ritten, Yiliangchen, Badian, Tianba, etc. who met with Long Chen, if their life is not hard enough, they will die before they reach adulthood. Even if you are an adult, you will be ill-fated and suffer a lot because of this name. It is not everyone who can control such a name. Although Long Tianxiao, the father of Long Chen, had a day, he didn't mean to be disrespectful to the sky. However, he still fought all his life. Countless times he died and was forced into a desperate situation. He was just a secular practitioner. He was contaminated with a word of heaven, which brought about such a great cause and effect. Long Chen was the father of dragon fighting heaven. At that time, he was known as the first genius and created his own unique skills. In Tianwu continent, it was regarded as the existence of the great emperor. But later, when the child was born, he suffered a disaster. His wife was divorced and his family was 3. Now, no one knows whose news. Zhan Tian has the momentum of trying to compete with the heavenly lord. Obviously, he has a tendency to go against the heaven. The way of heaven is challenged, and naturally his fate is doomed to be more bumpy than others. If it wasn't for Long Chen's biological mother, she would give her a more aggressive name and let her go against the sky. However, Long Chen's mother doesn't want her son to be a world hero, and she doesn't need him to achieve much. She just hopes that Long Chen can be ordinary, safe, and easy to live in. Therefore, names should not be confused. Some people have taboo words in their names, but people can be safe and sound. Either they have a very hard lifestyle, or they can have deep blessings, or they can accumulate virtue and do good deeds, and be pleased by the way of heaven, so they cannot bring disasters. However, all the people that Long Chen met, who were called Changxing, basically had no good results. Even in the impression of Long Chen, Tianjiao, who was called Changxing, was not 100, but also 80. As for those who do not have the opportunity to connect with the name newspaper, I don't know how many people died in the hands of Long Chen. Therefore, anyone called Changxing is often not allowed to live forever. Today, Long Chen meets another person named Changxing. It's you who can't die easily. If you hand in Bing Fu, it'll leave you with your whole body. If you don't, it'll let you survive. If you can't die. Finally, Ice Soul will belong to me. Yin Changxing said coldly. Roar. The flame Kirin beside him roared with a low voice, and his fierce eyes were staring at Long Chen, as if repeating Yin Changxing's words. Hand over ice spirit? It depends on how much weight you have. Long Chen sneered, His whole body qi and blood vibrated, Ming Hongdao roared, his breath like a dragon awakened, rapidly climbing. In order to quickly collect the cornerstone of the flame, the dragon dust did not have time to break out with all his strength. He suffered a great loss just now. This time he will fight with all his strength. If you want to die, I'll help you. Seeing Long Chen put on a fighting posture, Yin Changsheng's eyes were filled with murders, because he found that other supreme talents had already rushed over. Although he is a disciple of the master of the Shengdan Hall, he is also a descendant of the master of the hall. However, the fight for Bingling's spirit only focuses on strength and opportunity. If hundreds of supreme Tianjiao kill him, if he is killed by others and Bingpa changes his master, he will not be able to forcibly plunder him from others. My God, please listen to the call of your devout believers and give me the power to help me suppress the enemy. Yin Chang's spear trembled, and the milky light flowed around him. With his singing, the powerful power of faith wrapped him up, and the rune of the spear in his hand lit up rapidly, just like the ancient beast. Bang! Yin Changsheng made a move, and the power of faith ignited his qi and blood. It seemed that the whole person was possessed by a god and was stabbed by a bullet, which pressed down the sky. To Long Chen's surprise, the power of Yin Changsheng's belief was no less than that of Liao Bensong. How could the power of his faith be so terrible? With a roar, the power of the stars breaks out. The ring of God and the sea of stars appear. The sword of Ming Hong cuts down and explodes with all his strength. Boom! With his arms shaking and a mouthful of blood gushing, Long Chen was shocked by Yin Changsheng's gun and retreated 9 steps in a row. With each step back, the earth under his feet broke down. Originally, it was a place of array. After the cornerstone was extracted, the defense was greatly reduced, and the dragon dust stepped on the ground. The huge force shook the whole underground world, as if it would collapse at any time. Just after dragon dust retreated, a figure appeared quietly. It was Yin Changsheng's flame Kirin. It didn't know what magic power it used. It appeared behind Long Chen. It had a big mouth and bit off the head of dragon dust. It was just the angle that Long Chen couldn't avoid. Roll! Dragon dust was shocked and his qi and blood were surging. The long sword was out and could not resist it. A thunder and lightning shot out of his left hand and burst into the mouth of the flame unicorn. Boom! There was a tremendous noise, and the flame unicorn gave out a painful howl. His head cracked and blood flew, and he was almost killed by the blow of dragon dust. Long Chen was frightened and angry. He never dreamed that the power of Yin Changsheng's belief was so terrible that it also inspired his good life. He had never suffered such a great loss in his life. Kai Tian. With a roar and a knife in both hands, Long Chen rushed to Yin Changsheng and wanted to compete with him. At this time, the voice of a woman in white came into his mind. Now he is not even his opponent. Let's go. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3738. What? Long Chen was so surprised that he couldn't believe his ears. Those who have been killed by me will slowly return to heaven and earth after their death. This man is the inheritor of faith. He can use the power of faith in the world. Can you be a strong person with the strength of 40 million strong people? The voice of the woman in white came again. Long Chen suddenly realized, no wonder this man's power is so terrible. It is not his power, so he has a lot of balance in mind. The most important thing is that before the 40 million strong man's power of faith has not been exhausted, it is very difficult for you to hurt his noumenon. At this time, he has the power of faith to protect his body. His strength is not much worse than the 3 gods outside. It is meaningless for you to fight hard now. Women in white. With such a saying, Long Chen suddenly has a lot of balance. Otherwise, he has to be separated from Yin Changsheng today. Now, his opponent is not at all yours. Finally, the woman in white added another sentence. This sentence immediately made the dragon dust furious. This is not thanks to you? Your strength makes my body hurt and can't recover for a moment. Otherwise, even if he has the power of faith to protect my body, how can I be so unbearable? It's okay not to mention it. When it is mentioned, Long Chen is angry. Long Chen is determined to save her, and Huolinger is of the same origin with her. Anyway, everyone is his own, so Long Chen doesn't take precautions against her. Because of this, Long Dust was seriously injured by her. The strength of the woman in white, which contains the power of Ice Spirit, has caused great trauma to Long Chen's body and soul. Even with the power of chaotic space, it can't be repaired immediately, so the strength of Dragon Dust is greatly reduced. Otherwise, even if Yin Changsheng had the power of faith, he would not have vomited blood. This is completely affected by the old injury. The culprit even said that he was not an opponent. Long Chen would be angry to death. When Long Chen was angry, the woman in white said nothing. She put the cornerstone of Long Chen together and formed a strange group. She sat on the ground with her knees crossed and held Huolinger in her arms. They began to absorb the strength of the cornerstone and recover. They did not pay any attention to Long Chen. At this time, the long spear startled the sky and stabbed the Dragon Dust again. The flame Kirin, who had suffered a great loss, stood at the left rear of the Dragon Dust and opened its mouth. A sword of fire came through the air. The fierce force squeezed the space, and the heaven and earth seemed to be crushed and burst. The flame Kirin is extremely intelligent. His attack is half a beat slower than Yin Changsheng, and his angle is sharp. When he attacks 2 times, Long Chen can only avoid one at most. If Long Chen avoids the first attack, he will be hit by the second attack. Then the master of the first attack can change his moves and attack again. After Long Chen's hard work, it must be that the old force has gone and the new force has not been born. At this time, when he hastily meets the attack, he must suffer a great loss. 1 man and 1 beast cooperate perfectly. All of a sudden, Long Chen recited the scripture. When the sacred and solemn scripture rings, Long Chen cuts his sword on Yin Changsheng's spear. Yin Changsheng is shocked. He is shocked to find that his spear is drawn by mysterious forces. Boom! With a bang, Yin Changsheng's long gun broke the fire Kirin's attack. Hide quickly, Yin Changsheng suddenly screams. The real fire sword in Long Chen's hand sticks to Yin Changsheng's long gun and turns into a streamer of light, which runs straight to the flame and Kirin to stab it. A terrible divine light is emitted from the tip of the gun. Poof! The flame Kylin uttered a scream. The body was pierced by the light, and the blood spattered, and the body flew far away. The flame Kirin is seriously injured and does not know whether to die or not. Yin Changsheng is furious. But before he had any action, Long Chen took a big mouth on his face, and Yin Changsheng even flew out with a gun. At this time, hundreds of supreme-level Tianjiao rushed in, and suddenly Yin Changsheng flew backward. They were shocked and fled one after another. The third move of Kaitian, a sword shadow rises from the sky, penetrates the glacier world, and cuts down Yin Changsheng. The sword of Dragon Dust is properly grasped. Yin Changsheng is backward and unable to fight back. Others relax because of avoiding Yin Changsheng. The sword of Dragon Dust, with its invincible will, takes people's soul and forces hundreds of supreme heaven pride to flee in all directions. Boom! The sky and earth are split, the world collapses, endless glacier debris flies away, and those supreme Tianjiao people fly out of the debris in confusion. Yin Changsheng roared in front of the shadow of the sword, holding a long gun to resist it. The ground under his feet was constantly broken and was pushed out for tens of thousands of miles. Only then did he come back to his breath, and the sword shadow was shattered. Dragon Dust. Yin Changsheng gritted his teeth, his face twisted, and his foot in the void rushed to the core of the battlefield, because Long Chen was standing in the core area at this time. He was carrying a sword and looking down at him with disdain. What a long life, even if you have the power of faith, it's just so. There are 3 old guys here, and they'll take your life another day. The corner of Dragon Dust's mouth appeared a touch of sarcasm, and suddenly his body was in a flash. He ran straight to the distance and galloped away. The speed was incomparable. Want to escape? Dream above the void, the 3 powerful deities snorted coldly, and each one swayed, blocking the way of the Dragon Dust. Suddenly, in the opposite direction of Longchen, a divine light burst out, which was too fast. No, this is the real thing. As soon as the old man with white beard and another one with strong divine dignity changed their faces, they stopped them at the same time. The flying direction of dragon dust was just in the middle of the two people. They were afraid that one of them might have an accident, so they started at the same time. At the moment when the two of them put their hands on each other, suddenly dust was flying on the earth, and the third dragon dust appeared. At that moment, everyone's faces changed. Idiot, I'm the real one. The green hills will not change. The green water will flow forever. I will collect your corpses next time. A sneer appeared in the corner of Longchen's mouth, and he raised the seal script in his hand. Suddenly, the light on the seal script lit up, and the whole person disappeared in an instant. Boom! Dragon Dust's body has just disappeared, a sword light has been cut off, the void has been broken down, endless space-time debris flow. The momentum is extremely frightening. Unfortunately, the sword of the old man with white beard has finally cut an empty space, and the dragon dust has disappeared. Boom! Suddenly, there were two explosions. The first dragon dust that ran out turned into a thunderbolt rune, while the other dragon dust turned into a seal script stained with blood. It turns out that one is the thunder body of dragon dust, and the other is the double character. The thunder subbody originally has the breath of dragon dust, which is hard to distinguish. However, the double has the essence of dragon dust on it, which is also unidentifiable. As a result, in the siege of hundreds of Supreme Tianjiao, under the surveillance of three powerful gods, Longchen escaped easily. Dragon dust, I will tear you to pieces. The dragon dust was transported away, and there was no place to chase him. Yin Changxing was furious and gave out a shrill roar and a violent killing intention, which changed the situation. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3739 Longchen escaped, and the faces of the three powerful gods changed. Even the strong ones, their faces became extremely ugly at the moment. It has suppressed the ice spirit flame for hundreds of millions of years, and the efforts of many generations are finally about to die. At the last moment, it fails. The three powerful deities looked at Yin Changxing. If it wasn't for his special status, they would tear him up with their hands. If it wasn't for him, the three of them would not give Longchen a chance to plan. How could Longchen escape? You idiot! When a group of supreme-level Tianjiao saw Longchen escape, they also took away more than 40 million disciples of Bingfu Xinyan, and only a few hundred survived. These dead disciples were used to pave the way for the strong ones. What happened? People died, the benefits were taken away by the dragon dust, a group of them worked hard, Mao did not get. Yin Changxing was the first one to fight with Longchen. He did not cooperate with them at all. Otherwise, everyone would fight at the same time, and Longchen would not escape. If you don't have that ability, you still love to show off. If you can't beat others, don't play big. Originally, we all expected to rely on the ice spirit flame to refine the body and soul before entering the fairyland, and strive to achieve a perfect foundation and a perfect breakthrough. Now, it's all because of your one-man bravado that many generations of efforts have been wasted, and you still have the face to shout? Why don't you die? A supreme-level Tianjiao pointed his sword at Yin Changxing and scolded him with gnashing teeth. He wanted to tear Yin Changxing into pieces. Ice spirit has been sealed for hundreds of millions of years. Every time the 3,000 worlds are opened, the disciples of the 3,000 worlds and the Holy Dan Hall of 9 days and 10 places will come to absorb the power of ice spirit. Every time you open it, you have to wait for hundreds of thousands of years or even millions of years. Some of the highest level of Tianjiao will be sealed after reaching the peak of God King, waiting for the 3,000 world to open. Millions of years of waiting is to absorb the power of ice spirit, but also to fight for luck, hoping to become a lucky child and be recognized by Ice Soul. The strong man holding a sword and filled with righteous indignation is a seal maker. He has been waiting for so many years and comes with endless hope. Now that hope is broken, how can he not be angry? It'll give you a chance to have a fair fight and make sure that you live and die. The man with a long sword looks at Yin Changsheng's killing intention. Death, Yin Changsheng fled because of the dragon dust and took the ice soul with him. He had already been so angry that his 7 orifices were smoking. Now he was hated by the public, and he roared to the sky. Poof! The supreme strong man holding the long sword suddenly burst into pieces, and the blood mist filled the sky. In the endless blood mist, a human flame appeared, which was his original spirit. Who, with a big move, Yin Changsheng's original spirit was sucked into Yin Changsheng's hands by strange forces, just like pinching a chicken. The powerful supreme genius, in Yin Changsheng's hands, has no room for resistance. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. The spirit of the man struggled wildly, but he could not get rid of Yin Changsheng's hand. My master is Yin Tianda, the master of Shengdan Hall, the god of your faith, and I, the future master, will inherit his old man's mantle. What kind of things do you dare to disrespect me? Bang! With a big hand, Yin Changsheng smashed the spirit of the man. One Supreme Tianjiao was killed, and the other Supreme Tianjiao looked at Yin Changsheng in horror. At this time, these disciples finally understood why Yin Changsheng had made such a big disaster. The 3 god worshippers were ugly, but did not punish them. The disciples of the gods control the power of faith, and they are all followers of Yin Tianda. The power of faith is the bridge to communicate with the gods. Yin Tianda, who stands above all living beings, is invincible. As a disciple of Yin Tianda, Yin Changsheng also controls the power of belief, which means that he controls their life and death gate. No matter how powerful they are constrained by the power of faith, and they have only one way to die. Before Long Chen and Yin Changsheng's conversation, because it was underground, they didn't hear it at all. If they knew the identity of Yin Changsheng, they would be angry, but they would not dare to show it. Yin Changsheng killed the disciple and frightened everyone, but Yin Changsheng was more and more angry. Originally, this ice soul test was one of his performances. He hid his identity and came here alone. His master arranged for him to establish his authority in this test, so that all people can believe him from the heart, so that he can better inherit the power of faith. The original plan was that Yin Changsheng would lead the people to get close to Bingpa and gradually show his strength and leadership. Ice Soul is impossible to give in, and eventually it will fight for a net, and no one can get its approval. However, those dead disciples can provide Yin Changsheng with endless power of belief, and Yin Tianda teaches Yin Changsheng how to control the power of faith and subdue ice spirit. But who knows, a dragon dust was killed in the middle of the way, which disrupted all his plans. Yin Changsheng had no chance to use the method to subdue ice spirit, and Bing's soul ran to the chaotic space of dragon dust. Yin Changsheng had no command of the power of faith except for the method to subdue ice spirit. He could only put the power of faith into the spear and fight with dragon dust. He could not do any other skills at all. It's like a beggar holding a golden rice bowl. He has a lot of strength, but he can't make it out. Watching Long Chen escape, his lungs will explode. If the edict goes on, all the people in the Holy Dan Hall in the world will give me all their strength to arrest Long Chen. I will certainly tear him into pieces. Yin Changsheng said coldly. Yes. The 3 powerful gods could only nod their heads. The old man with white beard pondered for a moment and couldn't help saying, Your Highness Changsheng, now looking for dragon dust is like looking for a needle in a haystack, and we are looking for things. Your Highness and all the disciples should adjust their state and prepare to attack the immortal king. The ice spirit has disappeared. We can only retreat and seek the second place. We can launch all the big arrays and create another world of skyfire as soon as possible. The 3000 world is too big. Long Chen escaped with a teleportation symbol. There is no trace to find. It's too difficult to find him. If the search for dragon dust delayed the impact of the fairyland, when dragon dust advanced to the fairy king, and the people still stay in the kingdom of God, then if you encounter the dragon dust, you must destroy the group. Thank you, sir. Yin Changsheng suppressed the anger in his heart and nodded his head. Now it can only be like this. More than 40 million disciples, hundreds of thousands of the strong of the older generation. As a result, only 3 old people and several hundred disciples left. There is a big arc-shaped pit in the core of the glacier. From the sky, it looks like a mocking mouth, laughing at something. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3740, Long Qin used more than a dozen teleportation symbols in succession, and the later 3 used non-directional teleportation symbols. Long Qin did not know where he was. When 3 pieces of non-directional transmission runes were used up, Long Qin was completely relieved. Even if Xia Qin, the master of Fu and Seal script, was chasing after him, he could not find his position. Besides, those people are all powerful in the Holy Dan Hall. Besides refining pills, they are practicing fire. They don't know Fu Zhuan at all. Dragon dust is absolutely safe. The dragon dust glanced around and ran out of the scorched earth. There were green vegetation around, but all of them were bushes and no big trees. Long Qin arranged several concealment, warning and transmission array disc, only then dare to put down the heart to rest. Escaped here, dragon dust is already a sweat. It's not tired, it's frightening. If he stopped, he'll die today. Let alone others, just one Yin Changxing can kill him. The power of faith is just the power of cheating. Unless you come to the Fairy King and condense the crown of heaven, you can't fight these cheating guys. Long Qin was angry. The power of faith is so unreasonable that it can't be deciphered. Fortunately, Yin Changxing doesn't know how to use the power of faith. Otherwise, if he can condense the field like Liao Bensong, he will be blind in the other eye for some time. Long Qin rubbed his left eye, still very painful. It seems that there is no sign of recovery, also do not know when to get better. After a little adjustment, there was no movement around, so Long Qin felt relieved. When he looked inside, he found that there were many cracks in his flesh and blood, like a milky spider web, which cut off the flesh and blood. Long Qin has never seen such a wound. He uses the power of chaotic space to repair it very slowly. Hey, don't be like nobody, help me heal. The dragon dust faces in the chaotic space, sits on the ground the white dress woman rode. The woman in white holds a fire spirit. The white flame flows around her, absorbing the power of those divine stones. When she hears the sound of dragon dust, her eyes do not open. She says in a light way, "It's my will that hurts your body. My ice spirit will attack your body and soul at the same time. But you are strong-willed and have not been hurt by me. But the body and will do not match, my strength cannot break your will, so it is all added to your body. What's the use of saying that? Take back your strength now?" Long Qin was impatient. "Sorry, I can't get it back." The woman in white shakes her head. But Long Qin was stunned. "Before you and Yin Changxing fought, I could still take it back, but now those wounds are attached with the power of faith. If I take it back, my origin will be polluted." Women in white. "Why didn't you collect it for me before?" Dragon dust angry way. "You didn't let me take it." The woman in white had no expression. "You." Dragon dust almost a mouthful of old blood spurred out. "Oh, count you cruel, count me bad luck." The dragon dust is very angry. "Do I need to talk about this? You're all in my space, don't you help me? I really don't understand. On the list of Skyfire, rainbow fairies are obviously behind you, but they are gentle, virtuous, and polite. What about you?" Long Qin couldn't help muttering. "Have you seen the rainbow? Tell me about her." When Dragon Dust said the rainbow fairy, the woman in white immediately opened her eyes. Long Qin didn't want to pay any attention to her, but seeing her face was serious, Long Qin still met with the rainbow fairy. He said it in detail, and at the same time, he also said about Yu Qingxian. The woman in white bowed her head and pondered for a moment. The remnant soul of Tianhong was engulfed by the burning deficiency. The flaming Su, which is known as the strongest flame, is also contaminated with cause and effect. He devoured the remnant soul of Tianhong. You killed his son, and the retribution is so fast. Since the birth of the new master of Tianhong, you have a close relationship with the new master of Tianhong. From then on, causality has become more and more blurred under the rotation of fate. The rainbow fairy and you are the flame on the list of heaven. We know each other. Are you not sad to hear of her death? Long Chen can't help but ask, because when it comes to the rainbow fairy, the woman in white is as plain as water from the beginning to the end, without any mood fluctuation. Why be sad? Asked the woman in white. I forget that you are not human at all. And no, the rainbow fairy is not human, but she has rich emotions. It's not only the rainbow fairies, but also the Huolinger. They all have emotions. Although they have no flesh and blood, they are no different from people. Dragon Dust Road. When the woman in white doesn't speak, she seems to have fallen into thinking. Seeing that the woman in white doesn't speak, Long Chen no longer talks to her. Although they are both heavenly fire, Bingpa and Tianhong are totally two personalities. By contrast, he prefers Tianhong Fairy, and even goes to fight with Yensu for her sake. The Rainbow Fairy is kind. For her kindness, Long Chen is willing to help her even if she loses her life. But Ice Soul is just like its name, cold. It seems that there is not a trace of emotion, let you warm like fire, also difficult to warm her cold heart. Since Bing's soul can't help him heal, Long Chen can only use the power of chaotic space to repair it. We are all the flames between heaven and earth. Everything is arranged by destiny. The cycle of life and death has already been fixed. The so-called feelings have no meaning. If the world is snowy, winter falls, spring melts, and so on the next winter solstice, who cares about this snow or last year's snow? The woman in white shook her head. Long Chen shook his head and said, "That's not true. They all say that life is a lifetime, vegetation is a spring, summer insects can't talk about ice, well frogs can't talk about the sea, summer insects, well frogs, even if they only live in a square inch space, they can see the road. Life in the world, bitterness and happiness, the people of the world painstakingly repair the road, want to find the way to get rid of pain and happiness, do not know, there is no black, where white. No pain, no joy? It doesn't matter if the snow of last year is not important. People who should like you will always like you, just like I like Rainbow Fairy. But I couldn't save her at that time, otherwise I would fight with Yensu." When Long Chen finished, he saw the woman in white thinking again. Long Chen couldn't help saying, "Are you too tired to rotate your head enough? How to say a word, you have to think about it. You rest. I'm going to heal." Long Chen feels that the ice spirit is a little strange. It's too hard to talk to her, so she doesn't talk to her. "Will you fight for me?" At the time when the dragon dust is concentrating on tranquility and is ready to enter the body for healing, the woman in white opens her mouth again. "My life is going to be lost by you. I'm still fighting for Mao's life?" The fire of dragon dust started and he yelled. Long Chen is angry, and the woman in white doesn't say a word again. Seeing her silent appearance, she seems to be aggrieved, but Long Chen feels a little embarrassed. She says helplessly, "Okay, I'm an old man. I shouldn't be so mean to you. Let's talk about something later and let me heal first." When Long Chen finished speaking, she restrained her mind. Just before he was about to settle down, the woman in white said, "Hello." Long Chen jumped up from the ground, and her head was full of flames. Just about to roar at the woman in white, the woman in white said, "This golden lotus flower in your space can help you heal." Long Chen was going to scold him, but he choked back. A shock appeared on his face. Do you know how to use it? www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3741. No, I don't know. The woman in white answered neatly. Poof! The dragon dust was so angry that he almost spat out his old blood. "You don't know, it's useless to say it? I only know that this lotus flower can dispel the power of evil, and it is because I saw it that I did not kill you. It belongs to you. You can try to communicate with it and use her power to erase the power of faith. Of course, if the power of faith in you belongs to the light and the good, the golden lotus is invalid, but if it belongs to the evil and dark, it should be able to be expelled." Women in white. Hearing this from the woman in white, Long Chen's anger was slowly eliminated. He could not help asking, "This lotus was given to me by an elder, but I have been unable to communicate with it. I don't know before well, do you have any idea? Long Chen wanted to be honored as an elder, but the ice spirit did not have a trace of the elder's demeanor, and Long Chen didn't want to suffer losses. The woman in white didn't care about the name of Long Chen. She shook her head and said, "It belongs to you. If you can't communicate with each other, you can only prove your merits. There is not enough chance. In a word, you can do it yourself." There is an obvious pause when the woman in white talks about merit and virtue. While Long Chen looks at the golden lotus flower, she doesn't notice this detail. Moreover, when she talks about merit and virtue, the woman in white has a look of tension in her eyes. Seeing that Long Chen doesn't care, she breathes a sigh of relief. Bingpa said that the lotus can help him dispel the power of faith, which makes Long Chen excited. If it's true, then he doesn't have to be afraid of this abnormal power. However, Ice Spirit seems to know little about this golden lotus flower, and Dragon Dust can only try it. Long Chen once again told Bingfu not to speak when he was in a state of tranquility, otherwise he would turn over his face. Only after Bingpa nodded, did Long Chen dare to concentrate on his tranquility and began to communicate with the golden lotus flower with his soul. The soul of Dragon Dust appears beside the golden lotus flower, sitting on the void, facing the golden lotus flower, without any thoughts, feeling the fluctuation of the golden lotus quietly. The golden lotus flower is blooming with golden spirit, reflecting the dragon dust. It seems that the dragon dust is covered with gold, which makes the whole person seem sacred and solemn and unattainable. But in addition, there is no change in the golden lotus. It slowly rotates and sprinkles the golden light into the whole chaotic space. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. As time went by, the golden lotus was not any different, and Long Chen was allowed to communicate with it in various ways. It was still running on its own, as if it was an inanimate object without any response. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Long Chen was bathed in the golden light and looked peaceful. At first, he tried to communicate with it. Later, Long Chen forgot his purpose and sat on the opposite side of the golden lotus. Facing it, Long Chen was quiet without any waves. At that moment, the golden lotus is a pure land. Beside it, everything is so peaceful that people can forget all their troubles. Little by little in the world, Long Chen has entered a state of selflessness, forgetting time, space, and even more forgetting his own purpose. On the 7th day, the golden lotus moved, and the golden lotus opened slowly, revealing the golden platform inside and slowly holding the dragon dust on it. At that moment, he was recovering his ice spirit. He suddenly opened his eyes and looked at the dragon dust sitting on the lotus platform with a touch of shock in his eyes. Is he really your chosen man? But his killing spirit is so heavy, and there is a fierce devil hidden in his heart. Do you really want to choose him? She looked quietly at the dragon dust, which was covered by the divine light, with a look of disbelief on her face. When dragon dust sits on the golden lotus platform, the power of faith on the wound of dragon dust, like snowflakes under the scorching sun, is disappearing at a speed visible to the naked eye. When the power of faith disappeared, the ice soul jade hand was sealed, and the Taoist and Taoist spirits were scattered. That was her spiritual strength, which was taken back by her. The power of ice soul is terrible. Even if it is the powerful restoring power of the chaotic space of dragon dust, it cannot be effectively eliminated. It can only be worn out bit by bit. The power of belief is eliminated, and the power of ice spirit is recovered. There is no need for Long Chen to do anything by himself. Jianmu Divine Tree in the chaotic space has started to help Long Chen recover automatically. Soon, Long Chen's body has recovered as before. All of a sudden, Long Chen was sent down from the golden lotus platform. Long Chen opened his eyes slowly. Among his eyes, a golden lotus pattern slowly faded away. A smile gradually appeared on Long Chen's face. It seems that he has finally made a spiritual connection with the golden lotus flower. Next time he wants to use the golden lotus flower for healing, he should not have to work so hard. During this period of time when Long Chen was settled down, he was always sober. He knew what was happening around him. At that moment, he seemed to be free from the shackles of the world. From the perspective of an onlooker, he looked at himself, the golden lotus, the healing ice spirit and fire spirit, and everything around him. He didn't want to do anything. It was a kind of language that could not be used, the mysterious state of description. This mysterious state disappeared from his separation from the golden lotus flower, as if the soul had been reintroduced into the body, but the fully recovered body brought him endless pleasure. Dragon Dust looked at the slowly rotating golden lotus. It was still the original appearance, as if nothing had happened. Bingpa, do you mind if I call you that? Long Chun looks at the woman in white. I don't mind. Ice Soul Light Tunnel. How are you now? How much has it recovered? How is Huolinger now? Long Chun looks at still sleeping Fire Ling Sun. Some worry ground asks away. I now inject the power of these flame footstones into her body, and she will recover in about 10 days. As for me? In that war, I hurt my origin and fell into their hands. Those bastards have been torturing me for hundreds of millions of years. My power of origin has been seriously damaged, and I want to recover. It's a long way off. Ice Soul in the eyes with the intention of killing, obviously recalled the painful past. Suddenly Bing Soul looked at the Dragon Dust and said, You don't have to worry. What I promised will be fulfilled. Although it is impossible to recover completely in a short time, my recovery speed will not be thrown away by your growth speed. She will share all my strength and help you resist strong enemies. Bingpa misunderstands the meaning of Longchen and thinks it's useless for Longchen to worry about her. Her tone is very obvious. Even if I'm weak, I'm stronger than you. Huolinger can use her power at any time. Long Chun saves her and will never suffer any loss. Long Chun grinned bitterly. Although he didn't like the character of Bing Soul, he didn't want to get any reward for saving her. However, there was no need to explain some words. Long Chun withdrew from the chaotic space and looked around. After a few days, there was no movement around. It seems that this group of people also knew that it was impossible to catch him and gave up. Long Chun collected the array plate, took a deep breath, felt energetic, and recovered the vigorous state. He even had an impulse to go back to find Yin Changsheng to fight again. Dragon Dust identified the direction, toward the scorched earth in the opposite direction, galloping for a long time, suddenly appeared in front of the movement, is someone in the fierce battle. When the Dragon Dust galloped to the near, after seeing the situation clearly, suddenly came the spirit. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3742. Long Chen saw that 3 powerful people in the God King state were fighting with a group of powerful king of the world. Among those strong people, there was even a strong one with half-step divine respect. The 3 men had more enemies than enemies, but they were extremely brave. Dozens of corpses had been lying on the ground, all of them were strong ones of the Boundary King. In the distance is an abandoned city. Thousands of people in the city hide there in fear. Some powerful people in the fairyland surround the city with weapons and look at the front battlefield with anger. Unfortunately, they are not qualified to enter the battlefield. My family has no injustice or hatred with you. Why do you have to struggle with each other? The half-step god respected the strong one, and fought against one of them with all his strength and yelled. The man he stopped was a supreme god Pride. He was full of chi and blood. He was extremely powerful. He had a savage force in his breath. No injustice, no hatred? Do you need any hatred to kill your people? Humble people should not have lived in the world. Tianjiao, the supreme level of the Demon Beast clan, sneered and hit the old man's weapon with a blow. With a bang, he picked up the magic weapon with his bare hands. The golden palm was not damaged at all. On the contrary, the old man was shaken by the shock. His palm was the supreme bone. I'll fight with you. The old man was so shocked that his chi and blood surged and roared, which directly ignited the fire of life to enhance his combat power. What do you spell it for? The man sneered and opened his big hand. The golden rune on the palm of his hand flowed. The fury of the breath suddenly rose several times. Poof! Suddenly, a black light flashed and blood spattered. The man's palm was cut off, and then a man in black appeared and grabbed the big hand. It was Dragon Dust who made a move. The black dagger started to cut off the man's palm. When the palm fell into the hands of Long Chen, it suddenly turned into a huge bear's paw. Well, I'm afraid no one will take it. Seeing that the man's big hand was actually a bear's paw, Long Chen was greatly disappointed and directly dropped into the chaotic space. Originally, the bear's paw had just fallen into the hands of Long Chen, and the golden light on it broke out. Unexpectedly, he wanted to break free from the palm of dragon dust. But when it was thrown into the chaotic space, the man gave out a shrill scream. The supreme spirit of his body disappeared in a moment, lost his supreme bone, and his whole person became listless in an instant. Death, but the old man who ignited the fire of life was cut down with one sword, and the man was cut into blood mist by a sword without even the ability to resist. At the moment when the supreme strong man lost his supreme bone, he almost lost half his life and could only watch death come. The supreme level Tianjiao was killed, and the other two monsters were shocked. Their qi and blood broke out, and they fled at the first time. Those who were strong in the world king tried to stop them, but they couldn't stop them. The two gods and princes, who were strong in the realm, flew out and showed their essence. They were two scale eagles. Their wings were shocked and they had escaped tens of thousands of miles away. They were too fast to catch up with them. Puff! Suddenly, a knife shadow fell from the sky and fell into the void. The two huge figures were chopped into powder by one knife. Choking. When people come back to their senses, the long sword of dragon dust slowly enters the scabbard, which is like doing a trivial matter, but it scares everyone. Long Chen's knife was silent and his hand had no sign. When they reacted, everything was over. Thank you for your help. I'll always be grateful to you for your kindness. The half-step god worshipped the old man and gave Long Chen a fist, his face full of gratitude. If it wasn't for Long Chen, even if he had fought for his old life, whether he could defeat the supreme power was still unknown. If he failed, all the people behind him would die miserably. Luo's pulse. Long Chen just wanted to be polite, but when he heard the man say Luo's pulse, he suddenly moved in his heart. He turned his head and looked at the dead on the ground. With a big move, a drop of blood fell into the hands of Long Chen. Looking at the blood, he even had a faint purple breath. He could not help but look at his face with a touch of shock. When seeing the expression of dragon dust, the strong men on the scene changed their faces, secretly clenched their weapons in their hands, and suddenly became nervous. Even the face of the strong man of the half-step god had changed. Although he tried his best to be more natural, he still could not hide his inner panic. Are you purple? Long Chen looked at the half-step god and asked the elder. Yes, seeing that Long Chen recognized their identity, the old man could not help but complain in secret, but the sophistry was useless and had to admit it. Don't be nervous. I'm also purple blood. Today I've met my own people. Dragon dust smile away. But Long Chen said so, but in front of these people, eyes are still with deep guard. Your blood has been weakened to almost disappear. If it goes on like this, you will lose all the power of inheritance of purple blood within 3 generations. At my command, all the disciples of the kingdom of God stand out. Long Chen said to the people in the city. These people looked at the dragon dust, and then looked at the old man. Although the old man was full of guard against the dragon dust, and could not feel the slightest purple blood power from the dragon dust cut off the palms of the supreme level Tianjiao and killed the other 2 people with one blow. It seemed so easy that if he wanted to kill them, they had no chance to resist. The old man pondered for a while, nodded to those people, and then from the abandoned city, more than 300 Shinjun state disciples came out. Long Chen took a lot of Tiandao fruits from the Tiandao tree in the chaotic space and gave them to eat. These disciples looked at the fruit, but they did not dare to eat it. Looking at the old man also looked puzzled and didn't know whether to let these disciples eat it. As a result, when Long Chen handed a fruit to a young girl, he saw that the girl's eyes were full of fear. He touched her head with heartache and laughed at her. Don't be afraid, my brother will only help you, not harm you. Long Chen's smile was very infectious. The girl nodded cleverly and ate the fruit without hesitation. Her eating scared the others. Just after the fruit was eaten, the girl's qi and blood suddenly trembled, and she was covered with a light purple gas. When the purple gas appeared, everyone was shocked and looked at the girl with disbelief. The recovery of Ziki is the recovery of Ziki. The old man was very happy and looked at the girl in disbelief. Long Chen has been looking at the girl. Unfortunately, there is no purple rune in her eyes, which only shows that her purple blood is too thin. Even if it is the heavenly fruit, she can only help her to get here. Seeing the girl's change, other disciples ate Tiandaguguo one after another. Soon, one by one, the strong ones in Luo's family were full of disbelief in their eyes, as if in a dream. Master, can you take a step? The half-step god respected the strong one, and suddenly saluted the dragon dust, respectfully and respectfully. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3743. No, you are the elder. I really don't deserve to call me that. Long Chen is in a hurry. Purple blood is his mother's family. No matter how strong he is and how high his cultivation is, he does not dare to be arrogant in front of his mother's family. That's rude. Please take a step. Dragon dust with the old man, near the ruins of the ancient city. There are several simple tents in the ancient city. Not close to the tent, dragon dust smell a strong smell of herbal medicine. Did someone get hurt? Long Chen asked. To tell you the truth, there have been countless casualties since we fled. Please move on. The old man said, speaking and making a gesture of please, meaning to let the dragon dust move to another tent. Not busy, let me see their injuries. Long Chen waved his hand and walked directly into another tent. After entering the tent, Long Chen was startled. There were thousands of people lying in the tent. Each of them had a terrible wound. Black juice flowed out of the wound, emitting a bad smell of decay. Everyone's wounds are covered with herbal medicine. Most of the wounds have festered, and bone can be seen. Many people are dying and suffering from pain. Ming Qi, the means of the underworld? Long Chen frowned when he saw their wounds. Yes, they are the underworld. They have been hunted by the underworld and fled all the way. There are only a few thousand left in the hundreds of thousands of families. And this herbal medicine can only temporarily relieve their pain. As for whether they can hold on or not, it depends on whether they can force the dark qi out of the body. The hope is very slim. The old man looked at the wounded strong man with a deep voice and an endless sadness. He knew that the people here had a very low chance of surviving, but they had no way to resist the dark qi, so they had to leave their fate. Purple stamen stylosance has a certain restraining effect on the dark qi, but it cannot cure the root cause. The power of purple blood in your body is too weak. After injury, your blood essence will be deficient, and there is no resistance. As time goes on, you will die. The dragon dust shakes his head. The old man listened and sighed. He knew that, but there was no way. I have some pills for them to eat first, to save their lives, and to let those disciples who have eaten fruits outside come in. They are now full of purple blood and injected into their bodies to help them resist. Dragon Dust Road. With that, Long Chen took out some pills for the old man. The old man was surprised and pleased, and called on his disciples to come in. While they were giving medicine, Long Chen took out dozens of precious medicines in a region of chaotic space. These precious medicines were collected by Long Chen when he was in the underworld, and they have never been used. I don't expect to use them today. Long Chen mixes these precious medicines together, melts them into the furnace, and directly refines the patent medicine juice. It doesn't need any skills to refine the medicine juice. It doesn't need to wake up Huolinger. Long Chen can do it by himself. When the medicine juice is well prepared, Long Chen asks these disciples to smear the strong ones on the wound. When the medicine juice falls on the wound, a large amount of stinky black water immediately flows out. Seeing the black water, everyone was overjoyed, which means that the dark air was diluted and let out. For a time, everyone respected the dragon dust as if it were heaven and man. After several times of smearing, these people's faces turned from black to white. The dragon dust told them to stop smearing and gave them pills again, and then daubed them after an hour. After taking pills for 3 times, these strong men's body qi is exhausted, but all of them are weak, but if they have a serious illness. However, the lives of the people were recovered. Countless families wept with joy when they held the wounded. They thought that these people would surely die. I will never forget the great kindness of a hero. I will never forget it. The old man of the Luo family was so excited that he even knelt down to Longchen. Fortunately, Longchen was ready and quickly stopped him. You're welcome, master. My mother is also a member of the Luo family. Frankly speaking, everyone may be a family. You can't be so hospitable. Seeing that dragon dust said so, the old man asked. The old man ventured to ask why there is not a trace of purple blood fluctuation in the cabinet? When the old man finished asking, he immediately felt that something was wrong. He hurriedly said, Don't misunderstand me. I don't believe you, but I feel very strange in my heart. Longchen said with a smile, Nothing, because I was born not long ago, the spirit of blood was taken away. What? Who is so vicious? People were shocked. It was too insidious. Well, that's all the past. Let's not mention it. In short, you just need to know that I have no bad heart for you. What else can I do for you? Although I'm not a person in the 3000 world, I have a lot of things to do and can't stay with you for too long. Longchen apologized. These people are all of purple blood, and they are surnamed Luo. According to the law, Longchen should help them, at least until these people are fully recovered before leaving. However, he came to the 3000 world for training. His stay time was limited, and his time was extremely precious. He could not delay at all. What worried Longchen most was that the strong dragon clan had not talked to him, and he did not know where the dragon scale was. Since he could not count on the strong dragon clan, he had to run more by himself in case he ran into it. The old man looked at the dragon dust for a long time, and suddenly bit his teeth. Well, since you say you are purple blood, I'll bet and tell you everything. Our purple blood pulse is now called upon to do a great deal, which is related to the life and death of our purple blood pulse. However, as soon as we received the news, we were attacked by the powerful men of the underworld. We fought them back, abandoned our homes and escaped. On the way, we encountered several interceptions. More and more people were injured and our strength was not as good as before. I'm afraid it will be more or less dangerous on the road. You said that you are also a person with purple blood. I will treat you as a person with purple blood. This is the keepsake of our purple blood. Take it. We have purple blood all over the world, and there are super strong people. If you are in trouble, you can also ask me for help. If you are strong enough, if you have the ability to receive a call, I also hope you can come and help us with these words. The old man took out a piece of jade pendant with a high shape. The jade pendant was purple. It seemed that there was a wave of life in itself. There was purple blood flowing inside. Holding the jade pendant, Longchen had an inexplicable sense of intimacy. Looking at the old man, Longchen asked, Don't worry, as long as I finish my work and promote myself to the Queen of Immortals, I will come to support you. But I don't know where you are going, elder. The old man shook his head and said, We don't know. We are going to meet another purple blood tribe now. By the way, I'll give you something that you need very much. With these words, the old man took out a piece of animal skin paper, which turned out to be a map. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3744, A Map of 3000 Worlds? Longchen is surprised and happy, which is what he needs most at present. On this, we have marked the territory of the big clans, as well as some lucky, precious, forbidden and ferocious places. However, our map is a bit scribbled and can only be used for reference. The map is too far away, and we have no way to correct it. We don't know whether some changes have taken place in some places. In short, this map can only be used as a reference. We have nothing to help you with. I hope he can bring you a little help. The old man said, You've given me some help in the snow. This map is too important for me. Otherwise, it'll be like a headless fly, and I don't know where to go. Longchen laughs. At this time, those injured strong people have barely been able to stand up, have come to salute Dragon Dust, thank him for saving his life. Most of these people are strong in the realm and the backbone of Luo's family. After they recover, they should have some self-protection. Now that they have begun to recover, we have a life and we dare not delay. We can only say goodbye to you here. The old man said. They were in a hurry. They stopped because they couldn't keep going. If they didn't get a rest, they would die. Wait a minute, as Longchen said. He took out a pile of Tiandao fruits, with hundreds of thousands of them. When they saw these Tiandao fruits, they were all shocked. For them, this fruit is simply a divine fruit, which can enhance the blood concentration, which is simply the ability against the sky. Before Longchen took out those fruits, they were already very grateful to him. Now Longchen has taken out so many fruits at once, and they are all jumping in their hearts as if in a dream. Take these fruits with you. If there is going to be a big war, I hope good steel can be used on the blade for those who need it. In addition, I have some pills and fuzhuan. I also give you some, which can protect your life at critical moments. In addition to Tiandaguguo, Longchen also gave them some seal characters and pills. Since Longchen could not walk with them, he could only give them more things. Those Tiandaguguo are all the savings of Longchen, but Longchen doesn't care. What he wants now is not Tiandao fruit, but supreme fruit. After the war, there will only be more and more Tiandao fruits. In addition to hundreds of Tiandao fruits, Longchen gave them all the level of Tiandao fruits, including the earth level, spirit level and all levels. And tell them which kind of fruit is the best, and leave the best fruit to those who have strong fighting power and pure blood, so that they can go to a higher level. The strong people in Luo's line were so moved that they didn't know what to say. After thanking Longchen, they took their people away. Luo's strong pulse left. Dragon dust quietly followed for a period of time, found that no one was tracking. Dragon dust just let go. Longchen took a look at the bare Tiandao fruit tree. There was a fruit with the supreme breath on it. When he was stunned, he immediately went to look for the bear paw that he had left in the chaotic space. It turns out that the bear's paw has disappeared, and how to find it can't be found. After asking Lei Linger, he knows that the bear's paw immediately rots and disappears after being thrown into the chaotic space. Can't the supreme bone be included in the chaotic space? Yes, the supreme chi is a bridge linking heaven and humanity. When it enters the chaotic space, it is isolated from the way of heaven, and its connection with the master is cut off, so it is abandoned. Longchen suddenly realized, it's a pity that a good bone of the supreme hand is just wasted. Longchen has some pain. But think about it, this bear's paw seems to be unable to connect with human bones. A person holding a palm bigger than his own body can really fight? Dragon dust took down the supreme fruit. When he saw a small bear's paw mark on the supreme fruit, his heart leaped wildly. Don't you? Dragon dust thought of a possibility. Is not who ate this fruit, the palm will be transformed into the supreme bone? If this is true, that day Daoshu can really be two against the weather. Had known this, Guoran also need not suffer so much, go to connect that arm to the body. No, the breath is not right. Although there is a supreme breath on the heavenly fruit, it is much weaker than the original one. But Guoran directly installed the supreme arm on his body, and the power of the supreme arm did not decrease. It should be Guoran's method, which is better. Dragon dust carefully sensed the breath on the supreme fruit. Compared with the breath on the bear's paw before, it should be reduced by about 30%. Some energy has disappeared. I don't know whether it was absorbed by the tree of heaven or consumed after energy conversion. Longchen looked at the heavenly way tree. He didn't know why and felt its breath. It seemed to be making some kind of quiet change, but it was not clear where it was. Longchen looked at the supreme fruit in his hand, shook his head and said, no matter how much he is, the future Dragon Blood army must be the supreme army. Let's see how we run the world. Longchen collected the supreme fruit and took out the map. He found that on the map, he was still on the edge of the scorched earth, while the core of the scorched earth was marked with the word forbidden area and the symbol of Shengdan Hall. That is to say, the scorched earth is the forbidden area guarded by the holy Dan Hall, and no one is allowed to get close to it. Longchen looked at the terrain and couldn't help laughing. He escaped from the scorched earth. In order to get rid of the enemy's tracking, he ran out of an arc and circled the scorched earth half a circle. Fortunately, however, it was only because of this that they hit Luo's vein. The map showed that the surrounding area was desolate, with several ruins and no living beings. Long Chen studied it and found that the nearest Terran city was about a day away from him, and he had to cross a big river. The river was marked with danger. At the same time, he wrote a word of beast. It should be an animal tribe. I'm afraid it's difficult to cross it. But Long Chen is in a hurry and can't care so much. He has to find a Terran city first. Unfortunately, I would have asked for more if I had known that the teleporter was so easy to use. The number of dragon dust is less than 100. I can't help feeling annoyed. He had never used to use the seal script before, but now he realized how convenient it was to have it. He could keep the peak fighting power at any time without any effort, and it was not easy to be found out. He's not Xiaqin. When he's used up, he can draw his own characters. These seal characters can only be kept for emergency use. The dragon dust collected the seal script, spread out the thunder wings, turned into a huge thunder falcon, and rushed towards the city. Half a day later, when Long Chen came to the riverside area marked on the map, he saw countless monsters gathering. When he turned his eyes, he suddenly rushed to them. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3745. A group of powerful monsters are gathering, and a god-worshipping strong man is saying something to the young monsters. Behind the powerful one, there is a huge altar. On top of the altar is a god's stone, which is burning with endless flame. The surging power of faith changes the world. Pray, children, to the great sun god, who will bless you. When you attack the king of beasts, the great sun god will take care of you and light up the road ahead for you. From now on, you will no longer be confused and lonely. The god of the demon beast clan exalted the strong, and millions of powerful monsters in front of him also knelt down and cried out. In the crowd, hundreds of thousands of young strong men are praying devoutly. With their prayers, the god's stone on the altar is shining and lighting up the whole world. The powerful god of the demons and beasts took the lead in kneeling down, throwing himself to the ground and shouting excitedly at the altar, "Great sun god, have you heard the devout call of your believers? They are all your children. They are about to attack the king of beasts. They need your guidance and blessing. Please." Suddenly, a divine light from heaven and earth landed on the altar precisely. Through the endless flames, people seemed to see a giant bird fall. "The great sun god, you have come in person." When he saw the big bird landing on the altar, the powerful man of the demon beast clan yelled excitedly and kept kowtowing, and other disciples also called out the name of the god of the sun. "Don't be so excited. It'll come often if you like." Suddenly, a banter came from the altar. The man who rushed into the altar was no other than Dragon Dust. He saw the sacred stone on the altar from a long distance. The flame wave in the stone awakened the ice spirit and fire spirit in the chaotic space. Hearing the voice of Dragon Dust, the strong men of the demon beast clan on the scene felt something wrong and looked up at the altar one after another. At this time, Long Chen reached out and collected the flame stone several feet high on the altar, and then the whole altar was dim for a moment. "Goodbye, my friends. If you miss me, keep praying. I hear you and will come again." Long Chen smiles kindly and waves at the monsters and beasts with astonishment on their faces. He smashes a transmission symbol directly, and instantly the whole person disappears. After several blinks of an eye after the dragon dust disappeared, the powerful people of the demon beast clan realized that their belief god stone was stolen in broad daylight, which was not the arrival of gods. "Roar!" The strong men of the monster clan roared. "Chase!" All the monsters showed their bodies and killed them in all directions. Unfortunately, the dragon dust has already used the teleportation symbol continuously, has passed through their territory and galloped all the way. "Brother Longchen, you are wonderful." When the stone was thrown into the chaotic space by the dragon dust, Huolinger screamed in surprise and turned into a dragon of fire. He was about to absorb the power of the stone, but was stopped by Ice Spirit. This is the fire of faith of the descendants of the sun. If you absorb it, you may be the enemy of the descendants of the sun. You should think about it. Ice Soul looked serious. Huolinger was stunned and did not know what to do for a while. At this time, the voice of Longchen came. What descendants of the sun are not Jinwu people? Is it amazing? I don't know how many of their people have been killed. I'm not a friend even if I absorb them. The fire of the sun is the ultimate form of the fire of Jinwu. In the world of Tianhua, Longchen has killed many of the strong members of the Jinwu clan. There is nothing to worry about for a long time. Hearing this, Huolinger was overjoyed and began to gnaw with the stone. However, she was shocked to find that she could not absorb the power of the flame in the stone. Bingfu said, "This is not the ordinary fire of Jinwu, but the fire of the descendants of the sun. Although it is not the real fire of the sun, the power of faith contained in it is not what you can swallow up now. Since you are determined to swallow it, well, he'll teach you a set of fire control mind skills. After you swallow it, divide me a little." Bang, dragon dust is still flying all the way. As a result, when he hears the words of Ice Spirit, he shakes his body and directly smashes a mountain peak. It's shameless. We're infected with cause and effect. Do you want to enjoy it? Dragon dust can't help but angry way. Brother Longchen, don't say that. Sister Bingpa is a good person. I'm willing to give her my strength. Waiting for the ice soul to answer, the fire spirit sun is grabbing the way. It's over. The child is going to be abducted and run away. Now that he's talking to outsiders, Long Chen's heart is a little uncomfortable. But since Huolinger has said that, Long Chen can't help it. Ice Soul passed on a set of pithy formula to Huolinger. Huolinger was smart enough to learn it. After her hands were printed, all kinds of flame chains flew out and trapped the flame god's stone. The power of fire is drawn out from the flame god's stone, transformed at the junction of chains, and then injected into Huolinger. In this way, Huolinger can really absorb the power of the flame god's stone. What Longchen didn't expect was that there was an incomparable strength in the flame god's stone. The breath of Huolinger is soaring wildly. Not only does it restore its original strength, but the terrible flame erupts along her body, which can't control those flames. Ice Soul Jade hand presses on Huolinger's body. The strength she can't control is absorbed by Ice Spirit, but it's not wasted at all. After an hour, they absorbed all the power of the flame. The flame stone lost its original color and finally turned into powder. And Huolinger seems to have changed into a person. She is full of strength. The golden flame rises between her hands and feet. Now she still has some uncontrollable powers. Sunfire, Tianhua ranked 6th, ranking higher than Ice Soul. Now Huolinger controls a trace of Sun's fire. Although it is only a trace, its strength has been upgraded to a very terrible situation. However, with Huolinger, Bing Soul's body has begun to be a little empty, and seems to be ready to disperse at any time. Now she has absorbed some Sun's fire, her body has solidified and her face has improved a little, but her breath has not changed. Fire Spirit absorbed half of the power in the stone, and half of it was absorbed by Ice Soul. Huolinger was like a completely new body. For Ice Soul, it was just like a dry ocean. There was too much power to supplement. Huolinger becomes vigorous and vigorous. She is very enthusiastic about Bingfu, just like meeting her own sister. If Long Chun conflicts with Bingpa, she will protect her sister. And Bing Soul was not idle, and began to teach Huolinger some fire control skills. Compared with Bingfu, Huolinger's fire control skills were too superficial. Seeing Bingpa teach Huolinger's unique skills, Long Chun feels more comfortable. It's worth risking her life to save her. The next day, Long Chun finally arrived at the city marked by the map. When Long Chun arrived at the gate of the city, many people followed him. Suddenly, someone approached him. Long Chun instinctively protected his body and his aura trembled and bounced the man away. Ouch! The man suddenly screamed, fell to the ground, and suddenly a group of people with bad looks surrounded him. Touching porcelain? Dragon dust a frown. In the depth of his eyes appeared a wipe of murder. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3746. What do you mean, boy? As soon as the man fell down, more than a dozen strong people from the fairyland surrounded him, and they all looked at each other, and they were not good people. Boy walk without eyes? If you touch my brother, you should kneel down and kowtow and pay a gift. We have nothing to do with it. Fairyland strong man, cold drink. At this time, the strong men of the three monsters and beasts came to the city. They had just passed by the gate of the city. After seeing the dragon dust and the people, a look of irony appeared on their faces, and they walked into the city. However, the strong people present didn't embarrass them when they saw the three powerful monsters coming. After they passed by, they looked at Longchin impatiently. The first one said coldly, "What are you looking at? Kneel down to make amends. Even if this matter is over, we will not embarrass you." Longchin looks at these people, and the fire in his heart keeps coming out. There are many ways for him to do this. If he really apologizes, it's okay. There must be more pits waiting for him. Oral apology is certainly not sincere enough. Then he needs to invite wine for dinner. Finally, he will send an apology, and they will squeeze you out step by step. Once they start to apologize and think it's okay, they actually jump into their trap. This is a kind of trial. If they follow the normal rules, say a few hard words, and then throw them some money, they will be regarded as the beggars. This matter will pass, and they will not necessarily embarrass you. However, it is not they who touch the porcelain, but they are all human beings. They dare not even fart in the face of the three powerful monsters. The sneer on the lips of the three monsters is a great shame to Longchin. The world order needs to be rebuilt, and the reconstruction of the world order must start from within the Terran. Longchen's eyes are cold and genuine. What nonsense are you talking about? Make an apology to Lao Tzu before the false fall of the people, relying on the large number of people, rushed to the dragon dust in front of the neck collar. Click. As a result, his hand, as soon as he was lifted up, was seized by the dragon dust, and a bone-cracking sound that made the teeth sour was heard, and the arm of the man was broken by the grasp of the dragon dust. Ah! The man didn't expect that Longchen would dare to do it. He was deeply hurt and screamed. Let go. People were surprised and angry, and Longchen suddenly made a move. They suddenly felt bad, as if they had lost sight of him. It seemed that this man was not a fat sheep. Poof! The dragon dust pointed out that the person who touched the porcelain dragon dust was punctured by the dragon dust's finger, and the scream stopped suddenly. Putong as Longchen's hand loosened, the man's body fell on the ground so soft. Kill, kill, someone killed in front of the city gate of Jufeng. Those strong people who surrounded the dragon dust yelled. Boy, you dare to kill people in front of the city gate. You are the enemy of the whole Jufeng city. You will die. Poof, the leader was yelling. As a result, Longchin slapped him, and the man was turned into a blood mist by the dragon dust. The strong people in the ordinary fairyland had no resistance in front of the dragon dust. The rest of the strong people were shocked and fled one after another. At the same time, the strong atmosphere in the city rose. It was obvious that some strong people came to hear the news. Puff, puff. The dragon dust points to one, the arrow of thunder flies out, and those strong people around the dragon dust are killed one by one. Grandfather, we are wrong. Please let us go. Puff, puff. Unfortunately, the dragon dust is not moved, and the thunder light pops up. Those people are killed one by one. They are scared to death one by one. Where is there any arrogant appearance before? Stop. At this time, a strong man in the city yelled, and 4 strong people of the kingdom rushed over. However, Longchen ignored him, and the last few people who fled were also killed by him, and the last one died in front of the strong one of the kingdom kings. How dare you to come to Jufeng city? Give it to me. Poof! A knife light flew by, and the strong one of the world king was split into 2 pieces by the dragon dust. The remaining 3 king's strong people were shocked. The sword of dragon dust is as fast as lightning, but it is silent. It doesn't show any momentum. It seems that it is a knife that is handy. The king of the kingdom will be killed by the sword of dragon dust. You, who are you? When the king of that kingdom was killed, the other 3 people were surprised to see that Longchen came slowly with a big knife higher than himself, which scared them back. Longchen killed people. Many powerful men inside and outside the city were shocked and retreated one after another. They looked at the murderous man in black with a big sword on his face. It doesn't matter who I am. It's important that you bully your fellow countrymen and become dead. Longchen Cold Tunnel. Longchen uses Minghong sword to kill the man. Minghong Dao breaks the man's original spirit and reads his memory. Longchen knows that there are no good people in the city from top to bottom. They bully the soft and fear the hard. They bow to people of other races, just like dogs, but they are arrogant to the human race, and they specialize in deceiving the weak of the same race. Their faces changed greatly, and they turned around and fled. As soon as their bodies moved, the wind suddenly moved, and the dragon dust passed them. As soon as they were shocked, they lowered their heads in disbelief and watched half of their bodies fall from the air. Then they lost their consciousness, and the upper part of their bodies fell to the ground. After being cut by Minghong sword, their original spirit was also killed by Minghong sword. Minghong Dao itself is the god of killing and devouring people to grow up. Now, it has been fighting with Longchen all the way, swallowing countless souls. It is becoming more and more powerful. It can not only kill the Yuan god, but also read the other party's memory instead of Longchen. Longchen saves even soul-searching. Humble people, are you looking for death? When Longchen had just entered the city, a cold roar came from the city, followed by a snake bone whip, which was thrown from the city from thousands of miles away, and went straight to Longchen's eyebrows. His moves were precise and cruel. Moreover, the snake bone whip had a terrible holy pressure. The most powerful. Some people exclaimed that on the snake bone whip, with the holy supreme spirit, it was the supreme level Tianjiao who made the move. At the same time, the dragon's left hand did not make a sound. The violent force formed a sharp sonic boom. A ripple spread from the palm of dragon dust. When the ripple spread for tens of zhang, it formed a violent strong wind and roared away. Countless people were shocked. No one knew that there was still a supreme strong man in the city, and no one thought that the black-robed man, who did not emit any breath, was able to meet the magic weapon with his bare hands. Get out of here! Longchen stopped drinking, and his tongue burst into spring thunder, which sounded like a bolt from the blue. As Longchen's big hand yanked, the city trembled, and buildings collapsed one after another, and a figure was pulled out by Longchen. www.Ninefold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3747, Boom. A figure was pulled out of the city by the dragon dust, and the huge drag force directly knocked down countless buildings. A figure was pulled out of the city. The figure roared, and the runes broke out on the snake bone whip. The dragon dust felt a soft force coming from it. The whip in his hand seemed to be alive, as if he had grasped the tail of a loach and couldn't slip his hand. The snake bone whip was pulled out from Longchen's hand. It was the first time that Longchen met with such a soft force. The owner of the snake bone whip finally appeared. It was a long-haired man with long body and gloomy face. He had 2 horns on his head. Dragon and dragon. When the man appeared, his chi and blood burst out, and dragon dust recognized the identity of the man at once. The man with long hair, looking at the dragon dust, was full of greed in his eyes. He roared up to the sky, and the vision behind him spread out. In a moment his whole body was covered with scales. In the vision behind him, a dragon of 10,000 li appeared. As soon as the dragon appeared, the long-haired man's chi and blood were ignited in an instant, and the snake's bone whip swung. It was like a long sword that stabbed the dragon's dust. In the eyes of the men of the dragon clan, there was a look of fanaticism. The blood essence of the real dragon is mine. Longchen snorted coldly. Minghong Dao was about to be lifted when Huolinger said, "Brother Longchen, give me this man." Suddenly, a small figure appeared in front of Longchen. As soon as Huolinger appeared, the whole world was shrouded in terrible high temperature, like falling into a sea of fire. As like as 2 peas, he was wearing a white dress and a white dress. As soon as the little girl appeared, she held the real fire sword and cut it to the snake bone whip. Boom! The flame of the real fire sword broke out, and the snake bone whip was shocked. It was covered with ice, which covered the whip. It spread rapidly and went straight to the strong man of the dragon clan. The strong man of the Jiaolong clan was shocked. His arms were shaking continuously, and the supreme blood burst out. He wanted to shake the ice covered on the whip down. But what he didn't expect was that the ice stuck to the snake bone whip and couldn't be thrown off at all. What frightened him most was that the ice was burning. The harder he tried, the more powerful the flame was. His supreme blood turned into fuel. He had never seen such a terrible flame. Seeing that the ice was about to cover his hand, he roared, shook off his whip, and opened his mouth at the same time. A bloody light shot at Huolinger. The bloody light, like a poisonous snake spitting out a message, is filled with endless ferocity. Seeing the bloody light, everyone felt numb and instinctively wanted to escape. In the blood light, people felt the fatal threat. The poison of the dragon? Dragon dust slightly surprised, the body suddenly backward, even if he also do not want to be contaminated by the divine light. Jiaolong, not a real dragon, still retains its fangs and venom, which is one of its unique skills to protect its life. Many creatures stronger than the dragon dare not force them too much because of the venom. Bang! In the face of the attack from the strong men of the Jiaolong clan, Huolinger cuts down with a sword of true fire sword. The real fire sword technique is covered with a layer of frost and is hitting the bloody light. There was a burst of blood mist between heaven and earth. The fog was ignited by flames and turned into endless black smoke. The fog is poisonous. Some people exclaimed, they fled one after another, the black fog scattered, the void was eroded out of a big hole, some splashing venom fell on the ground, buildings and the earth were eroded out of a big hole. Long Chen was frightened. The venom of the dragon clan was really terrible. Fortunately, his palm was covered with dragon scales. If he held it up a little bit, he would connect the snake bone whip with his empty hand. If his palm was injured and poisoned, it would be troublesome. Pa! Suddenly, there was a burst of sound in the void, which scared everyone. It was Huoling's sword that broke the divine light and snatched the snake bone whip. She wanted to attack the men of the Jiaolong clan with the snake bone whip. However, Huolinger didn't use the soft weapon at all. With a sudden swing, the snake bone whip made an arc in the air and made a loud noise on the top of Huolinger's head. She almost drew Huolinger by herself, startled her, and threw the snake bone whip to dragon dust. As Long Chen just took over the whip, he suddenly found that the whip was not covered by ice, and it began to become slippery again. Long Chen knew that the strong man of the Jiaolong clan was controlling the snake bone whip again. Long Chen did not give him a chance and directly put the whip into chaos. Poof! When the snake bone whip is put into the chaos space, the strong man of the Jiaolong clan gushes blood and sends out a shrill scream. The snake bone whip is his own divine weapon. Once the connection is cut off, the Yuan god attached to the snake bone whip will disappear, which means that the Yuan god will die. The strong man of the Jiaolong clan was frightened and angry. He lost his own magic weapon, and the Yuan god was severely damaged. He was unable to fight again. Humble people, you wait for me. The strong man of the Jiaolong clan roared, and he would flee as soon as his figure shook. Ice Soul Phantom, Huoling snorted coldly, and suddenly her body shook, and a shadow flew out of her body. Poof! As soon as the shadow appeared, it came to the strong man of the Jiaolong clan and chopped the man in two with one sword. The phantom shakes and overlaps with Huolinger, and everything returns to its original appearance. People feel that their eyes are dazzled, and even the dragon dust doesn't see the movements of Huolinger. Pudong, a dragon thousands of miles away, was cut into two sections by Huolinger with one sword. The body fell on the ground, and even the Yuan god was killed together. The corpse fell to the ground, causing dust all over the sky. Countless people looked at the corpse in horror, and then looked at the dragon dust. Many people had already begun to retreat quietly. With a big hand, the two corpses floated up in the air, and Long Chen's face was serious. You are a respectable opponent. I can't tolerate you exposing your corpse in the wilderness. With that, Long Chen threw the corpse into the black soil of the chaotic space. The black soil devoured the corpse, and immediately released an amazing breath of life. As Longchen expected, its corpse is very valuable. At the same time, Dragon Dust's heaven tree, and produced a blood-red fruit, another supreme fruit to hand. Standing in the air, looking down at the whole city, Longchen saw the strong men of countless races hiding in the dark, with a look of irony on his face. Foreigners bully the soft and fear the hard, but the scum of the Terran is just a mouse carrying a gun in the nest, only knowing that the same race bullies the same clan. You'll be the first to mutiny once you're at war with another race. Idiots, you'd better not bump into my hand, or you'll kill one another. When you see one, Longchen's face was gloomy. Finish saying that, the dragon dust will fire Ling's sun income chaos space, in innumerable people's gaze, walked on the transmission array. The picture in front of Longchen changed. Looking at the place, there were lots of people. But before Longchen could see the surrounding situation clearly, a gnashing voice came, "Dragon Dust, where do you want to escape today?" www. Ninefold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3748. Longchen went to seek fame. A supreme-level Tianjiao was looking at him coldly. Longchen didn't know him, but his surging evil spirit showed that he had reasons to be hostile to him. He was a powerful demon, and there were dozens of them, 3 of whom were the supreme-level Tianjiao, and the rest were ordinary ones. As soon as the demon strongman opened his mouth, he let countless strong people around the transmission array look to the dragon dust one after another. The transmission array is located outside an ancient city. The city is called 7-Star City. As for the origin, Longchen doesn't know. It's marked on the map. This city is a neutral city. Although it belongs to the Terrans, all the big families can come. As long as you don't make trouble in the city and obey the rules, the 7-Star City will accept it. 7-Star City is a medium-sized and large-scale city in the 3000 world. There are tens of thousands of transmission arrays in the city, which can cover almost 1% of the area of 3000 world. Although 1% seems a little small, we should know how huge the 3000 world is, and it will take 100 years for a strong god to keep flying. Moreover, in the 3000 world, there are thousands of ethnic groups, and there are countless forbidden and vicious places, which cannot be crossed at all. The range of 1% is already very good. Therefore, there are numerous Tianjiao in the 7-Star City, including the local strong and the 9-day Tianjiao. In the bustle, there is also chaos. For the 9-day strong, the 3000 world is a once-in-lifetime test, and it is the same for the strong people in the 3000 world. Because after the opening of the 3000 world, the door of 9 days will open, and the 3000 world will usher in an earth-shaking change, and the world rules will be improved. At this time, it is no longer a dream to impact on the fairyland and condense the crown of heaven. Moreover, when the gate of 9 days is opened, some forbidden areas, fierce places and precious places in the 3000 world will make strange noises like volcanic eruptions, and all kinds of treasures will come out one after another. The strong ones of the 9 days have been waiting for millions of years, and the Tianjiao people of the 3000 world are also waiting for this moment. Although the 7-Star City is only a medium and large city in the 3000 world, it is not a super large city, but even so, at this time, the local and 9-day strong gathered to transfer, rest, replenish, and converge. With such a large city, the Emperor's land and Tianjiao are already as many as the crucian carp crossing the river, and there are countless supreme strong people who are rarely seen here, which is not new here, a lot of them. Longchen was targeted by the powerful demons and attracted the attention of many people around him. However, people's expressions of indifference and indifference seem to have been used to for a long time. That's funny. When will you see me escape? If you 3 want to play, it'll be with you anytime. Longchen looked at the 3 people, light tunnel. Even in the face of the 3 supreme-level Tianjiao, Longchen doesn't care at all. The last time Huelinger killed the strong one of the demon beasts was just a small test. Longchen wants to know how strong Huelinger is now. In front of the 7-Star City, no private fighting is allowed. If you want to have a competition, go to the west of the city and have a fight. Longchen has just finished his speech. On the edge of the transmission array, there is a cold tunnel for the strong. Long Chen noticed that around the transmission array, there were 10 guards in armor and holding magic soldiers. Good guy, even the guards are the strong ones of the half-step god. When Long Chen saw the 4 old men, he couldn't help crying out loud. But think about it, if the king of the kingdom was a guard here, these Tianjiao people with eyes higher than the top would not kill them at all. Long Chen dared to fight in the arena. The strong man of the demon clan snapped. Obviously, the strong man of the demon clan was quite confident. The strong man of the demon clan stopped drinking, and his voice was so loud that he attracted countless people's eyes. Even some strong people who had entered the city turned to look at them. There are so many strong people here. The creatures of all nationalities and forces all look to Long Chen, but everyone is just holding the attitude of watching the good play. Just you? Forget it. My time is precious. Long Chen took a look at the man. Although he wanted to collect some supreme heavenly fruits, he was not worried when he saw so many supreme-level strong people on the spot. Anyway, the meat would rot in the pot sooner or later. Are you afraid? This is the city of Terrans. Do you want to lose the face of the whole Terran? Long Chen was too lazy to pay attention to the man, went straight to the gate of the city, and passed by the strong man of the demon clan. The strong man of the demon clan sneered. Long Chen left his mouth and didn't pay attention to the man. He continued to walk towards the gate of the city. Many powerful men in the city looked at him and shook their heads. They thought that the dragon dust was too seedless to see a good play. It's really useless. Did your father and mother give birth to you to be a shrinking turtle? Just in front of the gate of the city, a strong man suddenly sneered. He was a supreme strong man with amazing breath. Obviously, he did not dare to fight against Long Chen. He was very shameless and sarcastic. But do not know, his words just finished. Originally a face of calm dragon dust, black gas flow in the eyes, killing the sky, the whole world seems to be in the ice cellar. The man's face changed greatly and he felt the first time. A large gold shield was in his hand and blocked in front of him. Stop it, no hands in front of the 7-star city. The 4.5-step gods revered the territory, and the strong ones were startled and angry, and cried out loudly. Boom, it's a pity that Long Chen didn't listen to them. Minghong Dao came out of its sheath like lightning. As soon as the man's gold shield was erected, it was cut on it by Long Chen. With a loud noise, the rune of the golden shield was not fully lit up and the defense was not opened, so it was cut into pieces by Long Chen. Half of the Terran strongman's body burst into pieces. At the moment when his body was numb and his spirit trembled, Long Chen crossed him and cut his throat with a knife. A head rolling out, a generation of supreme Tianjiao, even their own strength did not play out, was killed. Bold boy, take it for me. The 4.5-step gods were furious, and Long Chen killed people in front of the city gate. It was clear that they were challenging the dignity of the 7-star city. Without paying attention to them, the 4 men shot at the same time and went straight to Long Chen to kill them. Get out of here. With a wave of the dragon dust, the ring of God appears, and the sea of stars rises and falls. The endless stars on the Minghong Dao move around and press down the sky. Boom, a startling explosion. The 4.5-step deities of the powerful environment snorted at the same time and were chopped upside down by the dragon dust. For a moment, countless strong people were shocked, and those demon strong men who had challenged Long Chen were shocked. They didn't expect that Long Chen should be so terrible. They suddenly found that Long Chen looked at them and could not help but change their face. The look of Long Chen, which contained violent killing intention, had already locked them in. Who? The figure of dragon dust disappeared in situ. At that moment, their scalp exploded instantly, and the terrible death threat enveloped them. Since you're all for death, I'll let you go. When the dragon dust reappeared, it had already reached the top of their heads, and the Minghong sword was like a hanging galaxy. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3749. Those powerful demons were shocked. Long Chen was too brave. No matter where this place was, one shot was a violent killing. The 3 men have not yet entered the combat state. They are covered by a sword of dragon dust as soon as they can summon magic soldiers. The third move of opening the sky, bang, the long sword cuts down the Star River, and the way of heaven collapses. The three magic soldiers burst into pieces, and they die together with men and weapons. Hum hum. Ming Hongdao roars and explodes, as if an ancient beast wakes up, and its breath becomes more and more violent. On those broken warriors, endless runes were devoured by it, and it even used those runes to improve itself. One person a knife, killing the sky, Long Chen's face gloomy, endless killing intended to move in the eyes, he was angry. This is the case in Jufeng City, and it is also the case in the Seven-Star City. The Terran has fallen completely. The fall of the Terran is the degeneration of the heart and the decadence of the spirit. The other races unite and help each other, but the human race keeps fighting inside and harming the same race. They are subservient and arrogant in the face of other races. He couldn't understand how the Terrans became like this. Gradually, Long Chen finally understood why before entering the 3000 world, Xia Guhong told him to be careful of his kin. The enemy is not terrible, the invisible enemy is terrible, and more terrible than the invisible enemy is those who you think you can trust. As a Terran, seeing the appearance of the Terran, Long Chen was surprised, angry, painful and resentful. Seeing these Terrans, Long Chen seemed to recall some distant memories. "Terran, you want to die." A roar startled the sky. The fierce pressure changed the sky of the Seven-Star City. The way of heaven was roaring. The endless evil spirit covered the sky, and a powerful demon god came. He doesn't care if the dragon dust attacks the killers, but to kill the demons here is to challenge the demons. As soon as he appears, there are several powerful gods in the city. Devil friends, and calm down, violence cannot solve the problem, please don't make it difficult for us. There are 3 powerful people in the god worship realm. Their faces are dignified and they stand in front of the powerful demon clan. At the same time, they also block the retreat of dragon dust and surround it. You people are so brave, dare to kill the people of my demon clan in full view of the public. Are you good at bullying me? The demon god revered the strong one to shout. My friend, let's calm down for a moment. We will give an account of this matter to the demon clan. The old man is very polite. When he turned his face and looked at Long Chen, the politeness on his face disappeared, but instead he was cold and fierce, breaking the rules of our 7-star city and killing indiscriminately. I don't care what day you are in, what kind of world you are in, no matter who your master is, how big your background is. When you enter the 3000 world, you must abide by the rules of the 3000 world. Don't you kneel down and wait for me to do it? The rules? Haha. Long Chen looked up to the sky and laughed. Yes, you are right. You need to have rules. However, in the next 9 days and 10 fields, I will be the rules. The Ming Hongdao of Dragon Dust roared. It seemed that he felt the boundless killing intention of Dragon Dust. Ming Hongdao also became excited, and he seemed to want to taste the blood of the powerful god-worshipping people. I don't know the height of heaven and earth, but dare to resist? The reason why those who do not want to destroy the city are those who do not want to destroy the city. Who, all of a sudden, the 3 people of the highest level were surrounded by the dragon dust in the shape of a pinyin. At the same time, their spirits trembled behind their heads, and an invisible divine power, like a tsunami, pressed against the dragon dust. Kaka! Long Chen's body sank suddenly, and his body bones began to crack. On the ground under his feet, there were cracks like cobwebs, which spread rapidly around. Divine power, some people exclaimed that the 3 people did not want to do anything, but wanted to make dragon dust yield with God's prestige. In this pressure, there is the supreme will of the powerful God. If they dare to resist, they will directly crush the human spirit. If it is the coercion of a powerful God, as the supreme pride of heaven, perhaps you can escape before the other party's authority is locked. Now, 3 people exert their authority at the same time, which is tantamount to laying a tight net. The space around the dragon dust is solidified, and the furious will of God has formed an invisible storm. They want to crush him with their will. Dragon dust was so angry that even those who were strong in God's reverence gave in to the demons. Did the 3,000 world people have no backbone? In terms of fighting will, Long Chen is not afraid of anyone, but in terms of strength, he will die if he fights with 3 people. However, Long Chen-ming knew that he should not provoke them, but his anger could not be controlled. Even the will of Dante in his soul did not allow him to retreat. The dragon dust clenched the Minghong sword, and the stars trembled in his body, and the endless power gushed out. Just as Long Chen was ready to risk his life, a figure appeared behind him. It was a woman in white, who was extremely gorgeous, and even Ice Soul appeared. As soon as she appeared, with the dragon dust as the core, the earth was covered with ice and frost, and instantly spread. Seeing the ice spirit, the 3 men who were in a strong state of reverence changed their faces and retreated rapidly. At the same time, the fog on their heads was steaming, as if the red stove was covered with ice. As soon as Ice Spirit appeared, the faces of the strong people in the god-worship environment changed. Especially the 3 old men who oppressed Long Chen with their will felt a sharp pain in their souls, and they were hurt by the willpower of Ice Spirit. Fortunately, they stepped back in time, otherwise the consequences would be unimaginable. They looked at the Ice Soul behind the dragon dust in shock. "Who are you?" A god-revered environment strong person snapped. They cannot feel the breath of Ice Soul, but in her body, feel the fatal threat. Looking at her, people feel soul uneasy. You don't have the right to ask about the origin of this seat. If you want to die, just do it. Ice Soul eyes scan the whole scene, cold tunnel. Those who are strong in God's reverence are swept by Ice Soul's eyes, and their souls are frozen. Their hearts are shocked and they can't see the depth of the woman in white. "Bingpa, do me a favor and kill them." Long Chen's face was gloomy, and he said to Bing Soul, "No way. I'm so weak now that I can frighten them with my spirit and will. If they do, I'll show them the truth. Hurry to find a way to leave. You're not their opponent at all now. Don't act foolishly." Bing Soul preached to Dragon Dust. Long Chen, holding the Minghong sword, stares at the 3 powerful gods and demons. His face is gloomy and says, "The faces of the Terrans have been lost by you. You have forgotten the history, the blood feud and the past, which is tantamount to betrayal. You have betrayed the Terrans. I, Dragon Dust, make an oath here. The day when my dragon dust reaches the top of the mountain is the time to clean up the rebellion." When Long Chen finished speaking, he walked to the city gate in full view of the public. Ice Spirit followed him. As the Ice Spirit moved, ice flowers blossomed on the ground. After the ice, the white flame rose, which made countless people give in and dare not to stop him. He let Long Chen swagger into the city. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3750. Entering the city, countless strong people look at Long Chen, and their eyes are full of fear. No one dares to challenge Long Chen anymore. They are far away from Long Chen. Where the dragon dust passes by, everyone avoids it. The dragon dust is like a god of pestilence, and no one dares to approach him. In fact, what people are afraid of is not the dragon dust, but the ice spirit behind the dragon dust. The ice spirit alone makes countless strong people scared. Although Bing Soul has been extracting the power of origin for millions of years, she is now weak, but after all, she is the 8th ice spirit flame in the Skyfire list, and is the king in the Skyfire. When she is strong, a single thought can destroy the heaven and earth, and the nobleness in the soul is enough to crush all living beings. As long as it wasn't for the powerful people in the divine realm to attack her, no one knew her vanity or reality. As for those young Tianjiao people, they didn't even dare to look at her. Long Chen had been fighting for many years, but this time he was a fox and a tiger. Long Chen's face has been very ugly. It seems that the eyes are ready to kill at any time. All people are far away from the dragon dust. Ice Spirit appeared, which shocked the whole audience. Even those who were strong in the god worship environment did not dare to fight dragon dust, let alone other people. When dragon dust entered the 7-star city, More than a dozen pairs of eyes in the seven-star city looked at the ice soul. These were the strong gods, and their eyes were full of fear. It's just that Long Chen didn't act too much, and they didn't move in secret. Among the powerful people in God's honor, those powerful people of human race were the most upset. They were afraid that Long Chen would kill people here. If this happened, the city would be ruined. However, they were glad that although Long Chen's face was gloomy and frightening, he did not do anything out of the ordinary. For a time, countless strong men secretly told his disciples not to provoke Long Chen. "Why are you so angry?" Bingfu asked. "Watching these people forget history, forget hatred, and forget how their ancestors died miserably. How can I not be angry now that I am with these people who have killed their ancestors and are so servile that they want to kneel down and lick their shoes?" Long Chen bit his teeth. Long Chen has always believed that everything we saw in the purple sky is true, which is the epitome of history. Moreover, Long Chen was oppressed and slaughtered by the demons, the Blood Clan, the Beast Clan, and the Evil Way in Tianwu continent. The history of the human race is a history of humiliation. Therefore, Long Chen especially hated these races. But in this world, the traitor is more hateful than the enemy. Although Long Chen has seen many traitors of the Terran family, after entering the 3000 world, Long Chen has a strong hatred for such people and wishes to kill all of them. Hateful, his ability is limited now, and he is not enough to compete with those who are strong in God's respect. Otherwise, dragon dust will directly overturn the seven-star city. This is the strength and weakness of your people. Other races will carve hatred into their bones and souls. And the memory of your people can't be passed on. Most of them need to learn from the day after tomorrow. The advantage is that you don't have to bear heavy hatred to survive. You can make life easier and better. But the disadvantage is that the scars forget the pain, and history repeats itself again and again, as if the human race could never break the cycle. This is the most fatal weakness of the Terrans. As long as you don't break this cycle, you Terrans will always be able to survive in the middle and lower classes of 10,000 clans. No matter how powerful and brilliant your people have been, no matter what height you have been standing on, if you do not break the strange circle, then the glorious era is only a flash in the pan, not long. After the Great War in the Archaic era, the Terran has completely declined. Not only have they lost their faith, but also their dignity. Now the Terrans have little self-esteem. It is difficult, very difficult for you to recover the dignity of the human race. Ice Soul Voice Quiet Tunnel. Difficult, not impossible. Difficult can, just precious. As long as dragon dust does not die, I will eventually break the existing rules to build a world I want. Long Chen is determined to go through the tunnel. Why so persistent? Bingfu asked. Long Chen suddenly stopped, turned to look at Bingfu, looked at her eyes and said, "If I had never seen the light, I could have endured the darkness, but since I have seen it, I can no longer tolerate the chaos of the world. When the whole world is dark, then light is a sin. Before, in the face of the doubts of the whole world, I have wavered. Why am I out of tune with this world? Am I wrong or is this world wrong? For this reason, I once fell into inner division and entered into self-denial. Fortunately, I met Aunt Gong, who made my heart firm. She gave me the golden lotus flower, which lit up the way ahead for me. Now I understand that I am right, and the world is right. Since everyone is right, let's talk by strength." Ice Soul looking at the eyes of dragon dust, beautiful as gemstone eyes, a trace of ripples, she nodded, did not say anything. I don't know whether she nodded to agree with the statement of Long Chen, or felt that Long Chen's courage was commendable, giving people an unpredictable feeling. After Long Chen entered the city, many people fled because they were afraid of him. However, seeing that although Long Chen was gloomy, he didn't mean to trouble anyone, he gradually relaxed and gradually restored the original order in the city. Long Chen came to the center of the city. There were so many people here. Since no one dared to fight against him, Bing's soul returned to the chaotic space. She was afraid that she would be seen for a long time. Seven-Star City is a big city. The local strong and the foreign strong concentrate here. You can buy a lot of treasures here. It's just that most of the business here is traded for goods, and there is little money for settlement. People use the idle things in their hands to exchange for what they need. Longchen also used some pills to exchange some fire spirit stones to help Bingfu recover. This time, Bingfu came on stage and scared off a group of powerful people in the divine realm. Naturally, Longchen could not let her go for nothing and bought something to compensate her. Unfortunately, there are not many fire treasures, and Longchen's elixir is a rare treasure here. Many people look at it with envy, but Longchen has nothing else to need except the fire treasure, and others can't help it. Longchen bought several maps here, which are roughly the same as those given to Longchen by the Luoshi people. However, the maps of the Luoshi people are relatively old and some of the marked places are not accurate enough. Moreover, in some places, due to the change of race, many sites have changed their ownership, and there are many more forbidden areas. There is also a special place to sell news in the city. Longchen spent hundreds of thousands of immortal Wangjing to buy the most comprehensive news. The news contains the distribution of the major forces in the 3000 world, the strength, the number of the strong, Tianjiao and so on. In this way, Longchen has some understanding of the 3000 world native land, and hundreds of thousands of immortal king crystal flowers are worth it. Boom! Suddenly, there was an explosion outside the city, and people were surprised. Is there another fight? People in the city rushed to the gate of the city, and dragon dust rushed past. He just saw more than 80 corpses in horizontal and vertical directions. There was a man with long hair holding a long sword. Blood was spilling on the sword. In his eyes, there was an explosion of killing opportunities, and the thunder symbol was wrapped around his body. When seeing the man, Longchen was very happy. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3751, Jiang Lei. Seeing the man with long hair, Longchen exclaimed excitedly that the man was no other than the Dragon Blood soldier in the Dragon Blood army. It is also one of the Dragon Blood warriors, a very small number of soldiers with thunder attribute. Unexpectedly, they met him here. Boom! All of a sudden, the 4.5-step gods worshippers guard the transmission array and kill Jiang Lei at the same time. Longchen is very angry, and his body is shaking. He appears in front of Jiang Lei. Minghong Dao comes out of the scabbard and cuts it down. Boom! There was a great noise, and the earth was cut into a great gap, and the blood of the 4.5-step gods who were strong in the territory flew back and forth. Those 4.5 steps were also unfortunate. They had been swept away by the dragon dust before, and now they have vomited blood again. After Longchen's knife, a look of surprise appeared on his face. He turned his head and looked at a man. The man was a thin man with a Chinese face, thick eyebrows and big eyes, a righteous face, a scholar's scarf on his head, a blue robe, and a long book slip on his back. Looking at the book carefully, there are strange words carved on it. It seems that it is a very old book. The man was dressed up as a Confucian scholar, but his face was fierce, dignified, and not much scholarly, giving people a very strange feeling. Boss, Jiang Lei killed people. Facing 4.5-step gods, Jiang Lei thought that he was bound to die. He also thought whether he could pull a cushion before he died. However, he did not expect the appearance of Longchen, so he could not help crying out excitedly. Longchen patted Jiang Lei on the shoulder, turned his head and said to the Confucian scholar, "Under the dragon dust, thank you for your help to save my brother." Jiang Lei is very surprised. He thinks it is Longchen who saved him. Unexpectedly, there is another person. It turns out that before Longchen's knife was cut out, Longchen clearly saw that a character appeared in the void. The character burst into pieces, and the 4 people were bounced open, and his knife split in the empty place. At that time, the dragon dust was startled. The character did not look impressive, but when it exploded, it contained the power of startling the sky. Even the 4.5-step gods could not resist it. It's just that this man pays attention to the propriety of his hand. He just wants to pop the 4 people away and save Jiang Lei's life. As a result, the 4 people are hurt by the sword chi of Longchen at the moment when they are thrown open, so they vomit blood one after another. Dragon dust? But the youngest dean in the history of Lingxiao Academy? The scholar was surprised. I'm so sorry. I dare to ask you your name? The dragon does slightly a clasped fist. Unexpectedly, this person has heard his name. The Confucian scholar then returned the ceremony and said, I'm Li Qinggang, from Shuzong. I've met President Long Chen. Shuzong. This time it was his turn to be surprised. Not only Long Chen was surprised, but also the strong ones who came here were also shocked. Those who were angry and came to God's Zun state were also stunned. There are 4 schools in ancient China, namely, Qin, chess, calligraphy and painting. For example, when you see a dragon outside the sky, you can see the head but not the tail. It is extremely mysterious. No one knows where their ancestral gate is. The strong ones of the 4 schools of Taigu rarely appear. Only their disciples travel and practice outside. Even if they are traveling disciples, few people can meet them. When the disciples of the 4 schools of Taigu travel abroad, they seldom have any quarrel with others, let alone provoke any gratitude or resentment. Therefore, few people see the disciples of the 4 schools of Taigu to fight. Although no one knows where the orthodoxy of the 4 schools of Taigu is and how strong they are, no one dares to provoke the disciples of the 4 schools. Basically, the disciples of the 4 schools of Taigu never cause trouble. If anyone dares to embarrass their disciples, they would not come to a good end. Once there were some powerful sects, they would not believe in evil and killed the disciples of Qin sect. As a result, within 3 days, the whole sect was destroyed, and tens of thousands of disciples, including 7 powerful deities, all died in the sect. The most moving and terrifying thing is that when these people die, there are no scars. It seems that they have been killed for a moment, and they are unable to resist. Even those who were strong in God's respect had no resistance. At that time, it caused a great sensation. In other places of Jiutian and Shidi, there were various legends. In short, if you dare to embarrass the disciples of the 4 schools of Taigu, there was no good end. Therefore, when Li Qinggang reported his origin, everyone was shocked, and those who wanted to start a teacher and make a crime did not know what to do. It turns out that he is a famous descendant of Shuzong. No wonder he has such skill. It's a pleasure to meet you. Long Chen thanks again. Li Qinggang said with a smile, compared with the famous Lingxiao Academy, our Shuzong is nothing. The master once told Qinggang that in Lingxiao Academy, there is a famous book named Jiuli Yuanshu. It is said that it was written by the powerful people of Jiuli nationality. It depicts the early Jiuli script. Qinggang wanted to visit it and hoped to see it. However, I felt that it was too abrupt and I was afraid that I would not like to go there. If there is a chance, Li Qinggang will present a small gift and come to visit him. He will also ask President Long Chen to give us some advice. Jiuli original book? Long Chen himself has never heard of it, but this is what Li Qinggang said. I'm afraid it should be true. It seems that he knows too little about Lingxiao Academy. Long Chen said with a smile, if Brother Li comes, Long Chen will be waiting for him. However, my younger brother is just the president of a branch hospital. It is not convenient for him to make decisions on the affairs of the main hospital. However, Brother Li's visit to the academy shows his sincerity. I believe the dean will not let him down. Long Chen doesn't know much about the academy. Therefore, he can't agree to some things rashly, so that if he can't do it, it will be bad to slap his face. Well, if you have a chance, Qinggang will definitely go to Lingxiao Academy to have a look at it. Even if you can't see the original book of Jiuli, it's good to have a look at the first academy in the world. Li Qinggang said with a smile. Li Qinggang finished and said to those who had a strong respect for God, Masters, my disciples of Shuzong are not meddlers. However, these people are really too much. They insult people less than their parents and hate their wives and children. They should be awed when they are alive. What do you mean? A strong man of God reverence is cold and cold. The strong one has chi and blood, and has wings behind him. He is a strong demon beast family, and those people killed by Jiang Lei are the strong ones of demon beast family. That is, don't be too much of a person and don't bully people too much. Li Qinggang said faintly, even in the face of the powerful God, he had no fear at all. What if I have to bully too much? The demon beast family god respected the strong, and his face was gloomy. Obviously, this powerful monster doesn't know much about Taigu 4 schools. He doesn't want to provoke Long Chen, but he wants to test Li Qinggang. At this time, the other gods looked at the powerful monster group with strange faces, but they didn't say anything. As for the 4 Archean sects, people only hear that their understanding is limited to legends. As for whether the 4 schools of Taigu are really as terrible as the legend, no one knows. When they see the strong man of the demon beast clan who wants to weigh the weight of this man, they also want to see the excitement. If you have to bully people too much, I can't tell you. They'll have to reason with you. Li Qinggang snorted coldly. His robe was silent. The book behind him opened slowly, and then an ancient savage spirit came to his face. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3752. The bamboo slips were unfolded like a picture scroll, and the long mat was full of dense words, which radiated the savage spirit. Tian He 9 turns green jade bamboo? When the long mat was unfolded, the clear lines of the slips were revealed. Countless people exclaimed that the bamboo used in the book was actually the legendary immortal species of jade bamboo with 9 turns of tianhe. Each bamboo is 3 feet high and 1 inch wide. It is full of jasper. On each bamboo, there are 9 thin and long lines. It is said that Tianhe Zhizhuan Bu bamboo is different from other bamboos. Other bamboos are hollow, and the core part of Tianhe Zhizhuan Baizu will produce a bamboo heart with the same scale. This bamboo heart is a divine material. It is not only extremely tough, but also impervious to fire and water. It is extremely difficult to damage it. Tianhe 9 turn Bu bamboo. Every 10 million years, the heart of the bamboo will give birth to a thin line, that is its lifeline, but also its ring. Each piece of bamboo on Li Qinggang's bamboo slips is the heart of a 9-turn jade bamboo in Tianhe. Each bamboo heart has 9 thin lines, which proves that each piece of bamboo has a history of 90 million years. 90 million years old Tian He 9-turn jasper bamboo heart, which is almost the natural boundary, precious incomparable, and Li Qinggang's book, 1 zhang 1 foot wide, a total of 99 Tianhe 9-turn jasper bamboo heart series. The bamboo heart of a 9-turn jade bamboo in Tianhe is only 3 feet. In other words, Li Qinggang's bamboo slips were made with 99 pieces of jade bamboo with a lifespan of 90 million years. It is almost equivalent to that of 99 pieces of boundary artifact in series, which is of amazing value. On the slips, countless characters are depicted. To Long Chen's surprise, all of them are Jiuli immortal patterns of the 2nd generation. Long Chen can only recognize a few of them. What shocked Long Chen most was that he recognized the words Zhen, Sha, and Feng in those 9 Li immortal patterns. Although Long Chen didn't know much about the technique of inscriptions, he knew that all the inscriptions were evolved from the 9 Li immortal script. Xiachen once said that the 9 Li immortal script itself is the seal character of the heavenly way. It is the most primitive and most in line with the law of heaven. It is the embryonic form of heaven and earth's myriad methods. Li Qinggang showed up the book, and the gentle atmosphere disappeared in an instant. He was no longer a weak scholar. His eyes were full of enthusiasm, as if he had changed a person in an instant. He looked at the powerful monster and said coldly, "I once asked the master why I want to read." The master replied, "Reading can make you understand the truth." I asked again, "Since I have read, why should I practice?" "Master, reading is to reason with others, and practice is to let others reason with you. When the truth doesn't make sense, everything will return to the original, and heaven and earth will return to the truth. You people are mentally ill. You always say things that people can't understand so as to make mysteries. In my eyes, the 4 Taigu sects are nothing but bullshit. Today, let me see how strong your so-called ancient clan secret skills are." The god of the demon beast clan, a strong man, snorted coldly and stepped out, and had come to Li Qinggang's body. The powerful people of the demon kingdom came out of the city, which scared countless powerful people to retreat. The strong ones of the god-worshipped realm would destroy the heaven and the earth by waving their hands. If they could not make the aftershocks, they would be shocked to death. Old man, this is because of my brother. If you want to play, I'll accompany you. I also like to reason with others, but I don't have much knowledge. I don't like to use words to reason. I like to use knife to reason. Long Chen's big hand slowly stretched out behind his back, and the divine ring opened up the heaven and earth. The boundless fighting spirit went straight up to the sky, which made the way of heaven tremble. In a moment, the fierce spiritual power locked the powerful man of the demon beast family. When the dragon dust opened the divine ring and bent his back slightly, everyone was shocked by the huge spiritual power of dragon dust. When Long Chen's spiritual power is locked in the powerful one of the demon beast clan's deities, other people also produce induction. Even if there is no induction, it can be seen from the space fluctuation that dragon dust has locked the powerful one of the demon beast clan. How could his spiritual strength be so terrible? Some people exclaimed that they couldn't believe their eyes. A practitioner of quadrupole could actually lock in the powerful one of God's high status. This was beyond their understanding. At the moment when Long Chen locked in the powerful man of the demon beast family, his face suddenly changed. He didn't expect that the spiritual power of Long Chen was so powerful. What made him very angry was that he was not afraid of the dragon dust, but the ice spirit. He did not know when the dragon dust would summon the ice spirit. He did not know the virtual or actual situation of the ice spirit, and was full of fear for the ice spirit. For a moment, there was no sound inside and outside the city. They looked at the dragon dust with a long sword and the fierce fighting spirit of Li Chungang behind his back, and countless Tianjiu's heart leaped wildly. In the realm of God and monarch, they dare to challenge God, and they are still more than two realms. It can be said that Long Chen and Li Chungang have made the feat that they dare to think only in their dreams. Jiang Lei stands behind the dragon dust and looks at his commanding back. He is so excited that his fist is tightly clenched. His boss is still the invincible one. Mr. Long Chen, I don't have many opportunities to make a move. My master is in charge of me at home. He asked me to restrain my temper and let me read more and be less angry. However, when entering the world of 3000 this time, they were filled with anger. The Terrans became licking dogs, bowing down to other races, domineering and deceiving others. I reasoned with them, but they even scolded me. My master didn't allow me to bully and humiliate the weak. I can't help it. Now it's rare for an old guy to come out. In this way, the master can't blame me. If you want to win, you can't tell me whether you can win or not. Let me speak first. So, please don't rob me. Li Chungang looks at Long Chen and says politely. Seeing Li Chungang confident, Long Chen can't help but be surprised. It seems that Li Chungang is really strong. Since Brother Li has such an elegant interest, it is natural to give it to Brother Li. The reason why Long Chen wants to make a move is that Li Chungang has made a move for Jiang Lei. If Long Chen doesn't stand up, there will be something wrong. However, Li Chungang wanted to fight with the powerful one of the demons. Of course, Long Chen would not fight with him. In order not to make the powerful one doubt, he deliberately retreated to a distance. Long Chen knew that this man was afraid of Ice Spirit, but he did not know that Ice Spirit had no power to fight. Seeing the dragon dust receding, the powerful man of the demon beast clan was a little relieved. He stood with his hands on his back and looked at Li Chungang coldly and said, "Don't say that I bullied you. Let me learn from you. You can learn from the 4 schools of ancient times." Before Li Chungang, he was polite and elegant with Long Chen. When he turned his head and looked at the god of the monster family, his breath suddenly changed. Suddenly his big hand opened, and a bamboo ruler in the back of the bamboo ruler fell into his hand. A character on the bamboo ruler lit up, and Li Chungang disappeared in a moment. But just then, a bamboo ruler appeared and was severely slapped on the face of the powerful god-worshipped beast clan. What? The whole audience was shocked. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3753. This is the power of transmission, not the body method. Long Chen was also surprised. However, Li Qinggang's method of transmission was faster than that of Xia Chen, which had no sign in advance. Without warning, the bamboo ruler struck the face of the powerful man of the demon family. With a loud noise, the man's face was torn, and the flesh and blood were turned out. The blow almost blew his head. People open their mouths, but it is a strong God-respected environment, is also a family of monsters. How terrible the power of flesh and blood. The face was pulled down half. If it is a half-step god, not all of a sudden be pulled to death? People just remember that the jade bamboo with 9 turns in Tianhe is a treasure comparable to the realm artifact, and the powerful one of the demon beast clan's deities uses his face to strike the domain artifact, and the injury can be understood. The bamboo ruler took away the powerful person of the demon animal clan, and then Li Qinggang's body slowly appeared. As soon as he appeared, he stepped on the void and held the bamboo ruler in his hand. Like a lightning bolt, he rushed to the powerful one of the demons and beasts. The bamboo ruler, like a sword, broke through the sky and pointed directly at his eyebrows. Li Qinggang, who was a strong god worshipper of the demons and beasts, had not yet recovered. Li Qinggang hit again. He did not dare to resist and rolled to the side. Hiss! Above the bamboo ruler, a divine light, just like sword spirit, flew by the powerful man of the demon beast family and cut a blood mark on his shoulder. The sword was still strong and went straight to the 7-star city behind the powerful one of the demon beasts. Boom! With a loud bang, a strong man in the realm of human god worshipped his hand and smashed the sword chi. The huge power made the space burst into ripples. Li Qinggang's sword spirit was very terrible. The most shocking thing was that there was blood on the hand of the strong man of the Terran. He was hurt by the sword. Although the strong man of the Terran deity realm did not enter the combat state, Li Qinggang's sword was aimed at the powerful one of the demons and beasts, and left a wound on his body. His breath leaked out, and his strength had been greatly reduced. However, it was such a sword spirit that it hurt the palm of the man who was strong in the human god's realm. Although it was only skin trauma, it had shocked countless people. The power of the law. Long Chen's pupil shrinks slightly, and he can see the clue of Li Qinggang's sword spirit. Li Qinggang's sword spirit is not weakened by the lengthening of space. This is a blow that does not conform to common sense. Only the power of law can do it. It's a pity that Long Chen knew less than 10 of the second generation of Jiuli Xianwen. Li Qing didn't know any of the Jiuli immortal writings on the Gangzhou ruler, so he couldn't understand his attack. Hishi hishi. Li Qingging, holding a bamboo ruler as a long sword, slashed the earth continuously, forcing the gods of the demons to retreat and roar. Boom! Suddenly, there was a loud noise, and the powerful man of the demon beast clan finally caught a chance. With a roar, the scales covered his whole body, and one punch broke Li Qinggang's sword spirit. In the past, the powerful people of the demons and beasts were too big to pay attention to Li Qinggang. They did not enter the state. They were attacked by Li Qinggang continuously and forced to die. They were almost killed directly. Now I finally seized the opportunity to summon the scallop, chi and blood burst out. At the same time, a pair of wings are born behind. The wings tremble and a fist blows out. Boom! One blow startled the sky and suppressed thousands of ways, and the breath of the powerful god worshipped finally broke out without reservation. Boom! Li Qing chopped with a bamboo ruler. With a loud noise, the bamboo in Li Qinggang's hand was bent into a bow, and Li Qinggang was hit by a fist. Die for me! Li Qinggang, one of the powerful gods of the monster family, flew up to the sky and roared again. The sound shook the sky. A shadow of thousands of miles appeared behind him. In the shadow, a strange snake appeared. 6-winged serpent, some people exclaimed, and finally recognized the identity of this demon beast clan's god-respected territory strong man. His essence was actually 6-winged snake. When the 6-winged serpent appeared, the blood of the powerful people in the god-worship realm of the demons were ignited like a volcano. The furious power changed the color of the 9 days. The roaring, vigorous wind blew the space and sent out a harsh sound explosion. It was as if the world was going to be blown up by him. Is this the power of the powerful? It's horrible. People look at the vision of heaven and earth. The gods of the demons and beasts with full firepower are invincible gods. In front of them, the disciples of Shenjun realm are as small as ants. Long Chen's heart was beating wildly, and the power of the god-worshipping strong man was more terrifying than he had imagined. The violent pressure alone was enough to make people flinch. The powerful deity of the demon-beast clan with full fire, his wings trembled behind him, and he rushed to Li Qinggang with endless divine power. Obviously, at this time, he was furious. He did not want to test Li Qinggang's means, but wanted to kill Li Qinggang quickly. Long Chen has firmly grasped Minghong Dao, and his breath flows in secret. If Li Qinggang has an accident, he must help. After all, he helped Jiang Lei. Long Chen owes him a favor. In the face of the powerful deities and beasts with full fire, Li Qinggang snorted coldly. He threw the bamboo ruler in his hand and folded his hands together. The slips on his back were scattered. 99 bamboo rulers glowed, and the words on them lit up, forming a shield. Boom! The powerful one of the demons and beasts hit the bamboo shield with one blow. The runes of the road burst open, and thousands of thunders roared. Endless fragments of words were flying in the air. The huge power made the whole world tremble. Blocked people looked at Li Qinggang behind the bamboo shield in horror. His mouth was wide, and his eyes were full of disbelief. Li Qinggang even blocked the all-out attack from the powerful man of the demon-beast family. When the bamboo shield was shaken, 99 bamboo rulers flew upside down and landed on the ground, forming a bamboo fence around Li Qing. At this time, there was a blank on the bamboo ruler, and the characters originally depicted on it disappeared. However, with countless pieces of writing flying in the void, they finally fell on the bamboo ruler, and those characters appeared again. Li Qinggang broke off drinking, his hands were sealed, and 99 bamboo rulers trembled, forming a huge arrow, which directly rushed to the powerful god of the demons and beasts. All the words on the bamboo ruler began to burn and burst out a breath of surprise. At that moment, the world seemed to have lost its voice. The powerful man of the demon-beast clan was the first to bear the brunt. His face changed and he roared. His arms were blocked in front of his chest, and his back wings wrapped his body tightly. Boom! The divine light blooms and the runes interweave, and the wings of the powerful people of the demon-beast clan are smashed, and the whole person's blood gushes out and flies upside down, and the smell of scorching is diffused in the air. The flying bamboo rulers gathered together and restored the appearance of the slips. They were rolled into barrels and carried behind Li Qinggang. At this time, Li Qinggang's face was a little pale, and he saluted the dragon dust. President Long Chen, I'll see you later. Wanna go? Go to hell. At this time, the powerful people of the demon-beast clan roared and killed them. They swallowed the sky and bit Li Qinggang. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3754. Boom! The huge Shuko broke the earth and bit the earth out of a huge pit. However, people clearly saw that Li Qinggang sneered, and a character appeared on his hands. When the two characters were combined, the whole person disappeared instantly. Saliva, the deity of the monster family, the snake with a big mouth and spit out the mud in his mouth, is still slow in attacking, which makes Li Qinggang escape. People were horrified to find that the 6 wings behind the powerful man of the demon-beast clan had been broken and bloody. It was obvious that Li Qinggang's strike had inflicted a heavy wound on him. The 6 wings behind the snake are an important part of his body. Many magical powers need to be performed by the 6 wings. Such an important part must be extremely powerful. However, such a powerful part was shattered by Li Qinggang, which shows how terrifying Li Qinggang's fighting power is. It's no wonder that the 4 schools of Taigu are all high-ranking and can't be provoked. The rumors are true. Seeing Li Qinggang fight against the powerful people of the demon family, although it is only a few moves, it is enough to shake people's hearts. Li Qinggang almost killed the powerful one of the demons and beasts because of his carelessness. However, when the powerful one was in a state of full fire, Li Qinggang defended and attacked, leaving a shocking visual impact. Although Li Qinggang has entered the end of his tether and had to flee, it has to be said that Li Qinggang really has the power to fight against those who are strong in God's dignity. People look at Long Chen in the distance, and they suddenly have an idea. If Long Chen and Li Qinggang join hands, there may be a real possibility to defeat the powerful gods of the monster race. Li Qinggang is tough, but it is not enough to see him in front of the powerful ones with full firepower. People can see the power of Li Qinggang, and at the same time, they can also see the absolute power of the powerful one to destroy the heaven and the earth. Who, the powerful god of the monster clan, takes back the body and turns into human form. At this time, he is covered with blood and is very embarrassed. All of a sudden he looked at Long Chen fiercely, and Long Chen also looked at him. There was a look of irony in the corner of his mouth. Why? You want to throw fire on me? If you want to die, I will make you. Now you are in this state. With my own strength, I have 70% confidence that I can kill you. Do you want to have a try? The 6 wings of the powerful one of the demons were broken. He could not recover for a while. At most, his strength was only 70% of that at the peak, or even lower. However, Long Chen also has his own pride. Li Qinggang is against him in his heyday. He does not want to pick up this cheap. As soon as the dragon dust's words came out, the spirit of the demon beast clan was awe-inspiring, and the reason overcame the anger. Now, if he fights with Long Chen, he loses and dare not kill Long Chen even if he wins. He is afraid of provoking Bing's spirit, and finally returns to the city with a cold hum. Long Chen's face was calm, everything was expected, and he took Jiang Lei into the city. The storm caused by Li Qinggang slowly subsided. Long Chen and Jiang Lei entered the city. Long Chen wants to get a decent weapon for Jiang Lei, but there are too few lei weapons to buy. Suddenly, a group of people walked towards the group of people. There are 7 strong men in this group. The first one is a supreme arrogant. He is surrounded by thunder symbols. He is a rare lei xiu. His qi and blood are amazing. He is a strong man of demon beast family. This powerful monster seems to have just come to the city, with a proud indifference on his face, and looks at the people around with his nostrils. Long Chen and Jiang Lei walk past. Just walk with them head to head. Get out of here. That supreme level Tianjiao didn't want to think about it, and directly pushed the dragon dust. Pa, Long Chen threw a big mouth on his face. What kind of thing do you dare to be arrogant in front of the 3rd dragon master? The group did not have eyes. They didn't notice that the dragon dust passed by, and all of them avoided it. They thought that they were afraid of the power of their monsters and beasts. Long Chen knocked the man over with a slap, which made countless people exclaim. They didn't expect that Long Chen would start fighting in the city. It was not only hitting people but also the face of the city lord. However, the next scene made everyone's eyes protrude. Poof! Just after Long Chen slapped the man over, Jiang Lei, next to Long Chen, chopped out the man's head with a sword. The man's body was in a different place, and his soul disappeared in an instant. He was killed in the hall and emperor's land of the 7-star city. Countless people were scared to flee, because they knew what was going to happen next. Long Chen, you're deceiving people too much. Once again, the powerful god of the demon beast clan appeared. He was so murderous that his eyes almost burst out fire. Although he is not related to this person, the people who kill the monster clan here are clearly challenging his bottom line. Long Chen, why do you want to kill people in the street? Those strong Terran men are livid with anger. If you want to kill people, go out of the city to kill them. If you want to kill people here, don't you beat us in the face? He picked me up. Long Chen points to the corpse with an innocent face. You. The gods of the demons and beasts were so angry that their faces were purple. Is that why you killed people? Long Chen sneered. Do you need a reason to kill? How many wars have been launched against the Terrans? How many plunders have been launched, and how many lives have been slaughtered? Do you give reasons? I've given you all the reasons. Do you want to push your nose and face? You don't want to go out on your own? Now, in order to recover your wings, the power of your qi and blood is so low that you can't even use 50% of your usual strength. I don't have to spend much effort to kill you. Why don't we try? At this time, as Longchen said, he spent a lot of qi and blood to repair his wings. At this time, he was in an extremely embarrassing situation. He didn't know what to do with Longchen, let alone the ice spirit hidden around him. You people, do you want to declare war on my monsters? The strong gods of the demon race looked at the powerful ones. Those people who are strong in respect of human god curse secretly in their hearts. Do you dare not deal with dragon dust, but treat us as bad people? This matter belongs to your personal dispute, which has nothing to do with my 7-star city. A strong man shook his head and said that since Li Qinggang said that Long Chen was the president of Lingshao Academy, they were extremely afraid of Long Chen and were reluctant to provoke him. At this time, he was in a weak period and could not turn his face. He was so angry that he would vomit blood. Long Chen winked at Jiang Lei. Jiang Lin, knowing that, went to the corpse and bowed. You are a respectable opponent. In order to show my respect for you, I can't let you expose your body in the street. They'll find a good place to bury you. With that, Jiang Lei, in full view of the public, collected the body of the man, together with the long sword flashing with thunder light on his back. See here, countless people face a clear understanding of the color. The feelings of dragon dust is a fancy to his weapon, directly beat people to death. You wait, the powerful man of the demon beast clan, whose face was twisted like his crotch, was helpless. His eyes almost burst out fire, which was a great humiliation to him and the whole demon family. Let's go. Long Chen is too lazy to pay attention to him. He takes Jiang Lei to the transmission array in the city. Seeing that Long Chen is leaving, the strong men of the clan are relieved. They finally send the plague god away. They don't even charge for the transmission fee. He asks the destination of Long Chen and sends him away directly. When the figures of Dragon Dust and Jiang Lei have just disappeared, an endless light envelopes the void and blocks the whole 7-star city. All the strong people present are shocked. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3755, Boom. The fire covers the sky and covers the whole world. The heaven and earth become a flame prison in an instant. Who is holy? Come to my 7-star city. One of the Terran deities, a strong man, cried out. When the 7-star city was sealed off, everyone was scared to the ground. They had never seen such a terrible scene. The scale of the blockade was so terrible that even those who were in a strong position of divine respect were also frightened. Xingdan Hall to arrest the wanted dragon dust. Everyone don't move or you will be killed. There is a majestic voice above the void. In the endless flames, countless strong men holding chains are running back and forth in the void. It seems that they are still strengthening the array. Among those figures, there are actually several powerful ones with divine dignity. When he heard the name of Longchen, countless people took a breath. What was the origin of the dragon dust? How did it get into the famous Xingdan Hall? So many powerful people were sent out to arrest him. I'm sorry to tell you an unfortunate news. Just before a few breaths, Long Chen had already left the 7-star city. In the city, the people and gods in the city have strong respect for the territory, and some of them are uneasy. What? Boom! With a black dagger, Long Chen and Jiang Lei burst through the void with a bang. Like two meteors, they hit a cliff hard, and the cliff was pierced, and Jiang Lei gushed blood. Long Chen pulls Jiang Lei up from the ground. Jiang Lei wipes the blood from the corner of his mouth and says, "Boss, the transmission is good. Why stop the transmission?" It turns out that the two people are still in the transmission, and the dragon dust suddenly breaks through the transmission channel. You know, this is very dangerous. If they get involved in the turbulent flow of space, they don't know where they will be transported. There are flies chasing me. If we follow the original transmission, we will be surrounded before we get out of the city. Dragon Dust Road. Before the arrival of the strong men of the Xingdan Hall, Bingfu issued a warning to Longchen. At that time, the strong men of the Xingdan Hall had quietly appeared and quickly arranged a net. The dragon dust was transported away before they were blocked. to interrupt the transmission. On the one hand, they are afraid that the strong men of the Holy Dan Temple are waiting for them in the destination, and on the other hand, they are afraid that they will do something in the transmission array. If they change the transmission direction in the middle of their transmission, it will be over. Long Chen took out the map and looked at it. He found that it was at least 10 days away from the 7-star city. It was safe for the time being. Long Chen asked about Jiang Lei's situation. It turns out that Jiang Lei soared to the fairyland, the most miserable, and fell directly on the battlefield. At that time, the Terrans fought with the demons, and almost all the Terrans were killed. Jiang Lei, with one sword and one person, fought out a bloody way and escaped from the monster army. After killing, only half of the sword was left, covered with blood. Finally, he ran into a Terran city. When he got to the city, he thought he was saved, but he fell into a coma. When he woke up, he found that he was chained and became a slave. He was sold to a group of monsters. It turns out that the city has survived because the Terrans there have defected to the monsters. In order to please them, Jiang Lei has been given to them. Jiang Lei was enslaved to the demons and beasts. He worked with various instruments of torture and suffered various humiliations all day long. If it had not been for his ascent to the fairyland, a mysterious voice told him that all people were alive, and that he would have taken reunion with others as his goal, he would not have lived. During being enslaved by monsters, Jiang Lei escaped 3 times. The first 2 times were caught back and almost killed. The third time he finally succeeded. From then on, he no longer trusted anyone, and became a loose-mended wolf, who made a living by hunting monsters and robbing traders. It can be said that Jiang Lei's experience is the most bumpy one. Endless pain and frustration did not defeat him, but made him more brave. In order to survive, he has to push himself to the extreme all the time. Although he is an ordinary early generation, he has successfully hunted and killed the supreme level Tianjiao of the Demon Beast clan. Although he is not killed directly, it is enough to prove his terror. Just because he was enslaved by the demons, Jiang Lei's hatred for them is higher than the sky and deeper than the sea. After entering the 3,000 worlds, he had warned himself countless times to be patient and to be reunited with others. But in the 7-star city, facing the taunts and abuse of those monsters, he suddenly recalled the days when he was enslaved. In his fury, he killed people regardless of the consequences. Fortunately, he killed people, otherwise Long Chen would not notice him at all. At that time, Long Chen had already planned to take the transmission array to leave. "Good brother, you suffer?" Hearing Jiang Lei's experience, Long Chen patted him on the shoulder. "What does the boss say?" "Bao Jianfeng has been tempered. How can I improve myself to this point without these painful trials? If you don't have some strength, how can you call yourself a dragon blood warrior?" Jiang Lei, however, said with a smile that he did not complain about his past. He did not have life and death experience. How could he be today? "Good, each of us dragon blood soldiers is the best." Dragon Dust ha 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 smile. He is glad that the god treats him not thin. So many big good men were met by him. "Come on, eat the fruit and take it in peace. I will protect your dharma." Dragon Dust said, "Will be a thunderbolt rune with Tiandaguguo" to Jiang Lei. Without saying a word, Jiang Lei swallows Tiandaguguo, meditates on the spot, and begins to absorb the power of thunder. Jiang Lei used to be careful, but now there is dragon dust. He doesn't need to think about anything. He firmly believes that even if the sky falls down, the boss can withstand it. Hum hum. After swallowing Tiandaguguo, Jiang Lei starts to have thunder light all over his body. At the same time, his supreme breath gradually appears. Suddenly, Lei Linger shows up and pats his small hand behind Jiang Lei, and slowly inputs his thunder power into Jiang Lei's body. This not only enables Jiang Lei to better absorb the fruits of heaven, but also integrates more thunder power. An hour later, with the help of Lei Linger, Jiang Lei not only absorbed the Tiandao fruit, but also became a supreme Tianjiao. At the same time, he had a strong breath of destruction, which was the breath of natural calamity. In this way, in the future, he can steal the power of the disaster to nourish himself, not only to make his body stronger, but also to control more thunder power. When Jiang Lei felt the thunder runes circulating in his blood, he could not help but roar up to the sky, as if to vent all his humiliation and resentment. Choking, the sword came out of its sheath, and the thunder rolled. A thunderclap of thunder rose from the sky and pierced a mountain peak. Jiang Lei's face appeared ecstatic. He felt as if he were in a dream. Come on, let's go to a treasure land. www.Ninefold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.